What is good, chat, and welcome to another stream. All right, we are gonna be breaking down some crazy-ish today. All right, because listen, we got Fresh and Fit and Tim Pool in the same stream, so you know there's gonna be some knowledge dropped, or I'm sorry, the lack of knowledge dropped. Okay, when they're talking about the realms of women, dating, relationships. Now, why would someone like Tim Pool, who's focused his entire career on politics, all of a sudden start, paying attention to Fresh and Fit? Listen, it's not. Listen, if you think this is the first time, your head's under the rock. Okay, I told you, these guys, a lot of these right-wing politicals, all right, they are grifting into the red pill space. Okay, listen, what do you do when you have nothing else to talk about? All right, you bring on a red pillar. All right, they're sure as well hell gonna give you the content you need. See, Fresh and Fit and the platform is like what Zerka is to Sneeko now, okay? Kind of like that girlfriend that you bring on for clout and, gets you the cheap views when you need it, but then toss them away. And realistically, that's essentially what the manosphere has become. Just that, side chick that, content creators utilize for clout when they need a shock jock, when they need those cheap views, and then you toss them out. But the real question is, why is Tim Pool at the center of it? He's a grifter. I mean, that's just what it is. He started, when he started his entire career, we actually thought he was left wing, and then we slowly saw his transition to the right. I mean, that's just, to me, he wants to make it seem like it's all about the cancel culture and the lies and sprinkle a little bit conspiracy. Now, to be fair to Tim Pool, he doesn't go full on conspiracy nut job like a lot of these right wingers and a lot of these red pillars do. Okay, but it does not mean that he does not skirt that line, because he does a lot. He skirts that conspiracy line. It's almost like he has an agenda for the right, but he's like walking that fine line of getting there, right? So Fresh and Fit is one such agenda, and we can tell because some of their bullshit ideas, they didn't get the rightful pushback they should have gotten. Realistically, Myron just goes on and spills the dumbest thing in the world, and luckily they are getting their comeuppance for it because they are getting fried, particularly Tim Pool, but yeah, Fresh and Fit as well. They're also getting fried because people are like, yo, Myron, Tim Pool, how do you let this guy on and he says the bullshit he's saying about women? You're going to sit there and say he's here to help men? Think about it. If this was anybody on the left, all right, let's say it's anybody on the left wing that you hate, all right, and they're speaking in contradiction like Myron did on your stream, you would have been all over them, Tim Pool, but Myron comes up there and talks about he's here to help men, but you, Tim Pool, did not mention or at least point out, hey, buddy, I get it, you're helping men, but it has come to our attention because, we're a journalistic platform that you and your platform are, in fact, responsible for the massive increase of simps and OnlyFans, supporters. Huh? What do you mean, Tim? That's not true. Well, listen, according to you, Fresh and Fit, you said that yourself. You guys have numerous platforms or podcasts where you've admitted that your platform serves nothing else but the purpose of desperate men getting to make fun of OnlyFans women, only to later sub to them. See, if Tim Pool was a real journalist, he would call that out. I mean, he is when he doesn't like you, kind of like Candace Owens and some of these other guys who have officially joined the grift. But that's essentially what we're looking at in a nutshell. Now, what I said earlier, where hey, this conversation was not so entertaining. Well, I would say entertaining. I would say more educational, more informative, if you want to take it. Why did I say that at the start of the stream? The reason why I said that is, listen, Tim Pool, I think he's come a long way from honest journalism. I think is it fair to say that? Because somebody say, I feel like he's come a long way from fair journalism in the wrong direction. That is, but then again, that is Tim Pool. So you can't expect to really get anything as informative as you would have hope for with Tim Pool, and then you add Myron to the mix, it's even worse. Okay, so remember I told you guys a bunch of people were reacting to this shit. All right, yeah, they are, and we're gonna react to the main stream that they did, right? The main podcast, and brace yourselves. It's gonna be rough. Okay, chat. I'm not gonna hold y'all, but this is gonna be rough. So y'all really gotta endure with me, because it's gonna be crazy. But I thought I'd start out with Playback's reaction to this, because they had certain segments out of this that they clipped out to go ahead and react to, which were some of the cringiest shit ever. But I love the reaction to it because it makes perfect sense. And there are more content creators that are giving Fresh and Fit the business for this kind of absolute nonsense they put on, right? And realistically, it's rightfully so, because every time these guys leave their platform and go elsewhere, they, like, when other people listen to the crap they're saying, it doesn't vibe well with reality. Some would say it doesn't even make any sense. It's like, get the fuck out of here with your bullshit ideas, right? So that's what's going on right now. So we're gonna react to Playback's reaction. So a good old reaction inception video that we got going on here, and then we're gonna go get to the main live stream. And I warn you, okay, once we get to the main live stream, oh my God, it's like you're going to claw your eyes out, all right? Listen, I'd rather drag my nuts through 2 miles of broken glass than sit there and listen to Myron talking about hypergamy when it comes to women and dating relationship dynamics. I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't want to have to hear another bro science, okay Cupid statistic talking points on why women prefer to date up, okay? Or why women like good-looking guys. Because the fact of the matter is, none of this shit's been really peer-reviewed. It's all just bro science and company doing research to go ahead and market their own dating app platform. So I just find it interesting. But again, I digress. Guys, let's hit the likes on the way in. Shout out to you. I appreciate you guys for being here. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're spending time with us. Oscar Perez, shout out to you for the super chat. Oscar says, Sneeko set up Myron and Fresh. Sneeko set up these two on an E-date on Rumble, and Myron Frank castled himself from the E-date and admitted he has no game. Can we get a clip of that? Is that still on? Is that still on Rumble? Can somebody screen record that and send it to me before Sneeko or Myron makes Sneeko take it down? Because you know Myron's going to make Sneeko take that down. So someone screenshot that, because I'm going to react to it. That's going to be, we got a couple more Myron streams coming down the pipeline. Like the beef he has with Joe Budden. Where the fuck did that start from? We don't know. Let's go ahead and talk about that, right? So, I mean, the Fresh and Fit platform as a whole, I mean, it's just, it's kind of like what Playback platform just said, right? It's real. They're getting real desperate out here. I mean, would you blame them? They got demonetized, okay? They lost their main way of paying these hosts to be on their platform. So come on. Let's react to how desperate they're really getting.
Very happy as much weight as ends.
So you're in the middle. You're
in the middle. I think women should have the ability to vote, and depending on what position they hold, if they're in the military and they're some type of government service, then I think absolutely their vote should count all the way. But if it's just a female and she doesn't have any type of civil service or anything else, like
what? Yo, these niggas hate democracy.
Yeah, just
and
hate
with the American flag in the background.
Which is the most ridiculous thing in the world, bro. And this nigga was a part. He was a part of the civil service in America, bro.
Why are we going backwards, like morally? Why are we trying to convince you? Don't even believe that?
Yeah, that's what I'm, bro. Come on. It's such a crazy, nasty grift and pander.
No, it's not pandering though. Low agent. They're not pandering. They're not. Like I realistically think Myron believes it. Fresh is just dumb, so we can write him off, okay? But they're not pandering, bro. Myron's for real serious about when they talk about women not being able to vote or shouldn't be able to vote. He means that 100%, and just like a lot of other people who mean it. Now you can make an argument like Pearl. You could probably say she's faking it, right, or she's just doing it for views, and I would probably agree with you there. But Myron. Nah, I think Myron for real believes this stuff. If we're in Myron's world right now, yeah, women, you not voting, dog.
What are we doing right now? Oh, they don't deserve to. What do you mean? By that logic, should we also have standards for what type of man should be able to vote?
Oh, no, that's what he says next.
Okay, good. I want to hear it.
Then I think it should be, and this goes for the men too. Right. Certain guys shouldn't vote either. If you're working at McDonald's, etc., should your vote count all the way?
So then it's not a question.
Oh, God. That's one of the craziest arguments I've
ever heard
in a very long time.
I've ever heard in my life, bro.
Why do they think working niggas dead believe making less money it makes you less valuable?
Yes, that is.
Bro, y'all niggas obsessed with bread, bro. And it's sad, bro. Like, it doesn't make you less of a human, nigga, because your right as a human in this country constitutionally is to vote. They didn't say unless you work at a fast food restaurant or make less than $25 an hour, in which case you should be able to vote, bro. If you work security, if you work entry-level jobs, you can't vote, unfortunately. It's just executive, C-suite level, niggas with Bugattis and stuff like that. They're voting for 10X.
God, bro.
If you got a Bugatti,
it depends on what you're driving, nigga.
hey, nigga.
Bro, like, how ridiculous is that statement, though, right? These are the same guys. Oh, free speech. Yeah, we want free speech. Everyone has the right to do this and that. Oh, yeah, except for people who are broke. Yeah, if you make six figures and lower than that, yeah, you don't deserve any rights at all, you scum. Get your paper up like the rest of us. What are you talking about, though? Like, look how, like, these guys are tyrants, okay? Again, you right-wingers, especially some of you female, conservatives that are hopping on this red pill train, why are you doing this? These guys do not like women. Like, they hate women. What do you think is gonna happen to you ladies the moment these guys, let's say if they get their way, so by some miracle, all right, of whatever you want to call it, maybe call it fate, all right? Let's say these far right people get their way, okay? And you ladies help them. Who else do you think they're gonna turn on? If they win their battle with the LGBTQ, right? They win their battle with the COVID and whatnot, or all these other conspiracies they're done fighting. They're turning their attention to you, the women, right now. They're turning their attention to you, and they're gonna be ready to pick at and take away every single right that you have to make sure that you are subservient to them. Matter of fact, the only right you're gonna be left with is the right to make them a sandwich. That's Myron's world right there. Ladies, you especially y'all who are conservative, like, what are we doing? Why are we still giving these people room and platform to just spew these nonsense that is clearly against your own MO? But again, it is what it is. Dev with the membership. Shout out to you. He says, we in here to endure. Thank you so much, because I'm about to lose some brain cells here in a second. Dev again with the $2 super chat. Let's get the dubs in the chat for Dev. Dev says, FNF is on the find out arc. Yeah, it's not looking good, bro. They're fucking around right now. They don't know what they're about to find out. And it's not going to be pretty, bro. I mean, they complain about why YouTube demonetized them and, remove their platinum partnership. Why would they want to partner with someone who's clearly advocating for unequal rights, right? They're advocating for unequal rights, not even just for women, just against poor people. Like, damn, y'all just hate poor people like that. And this guy he was working with the government. He was Homeland Security. Imagine how he treated those poor immigrants. Jeez, man, like Myron, dude. I'm telling you.
How do you stay out the gate? Fuck democracy. What type of keys you got in your pocket, nigga?
Yeah, hey, where do you live? How many square feet, man?
Yeah, we need how many square foot, yard space, the type of car you drive, nigga, your income, your savings, all that, bro. We need to know. You got a Bugatti, you get 10 votes. All right. You got a Ferrari, Lamborghini, you get 9 votes.
Get your money up, not your funny up, nigga. Hey, listen, if you got a private jet, okay, listen, that's 100 votes. You instantly get 100. All right, listen, we don't play out here. All right, you can't be broke out here. You can't be broke out here messing with us. You at least have to have an AP watch to qualify for 1 vote. I mean, come on, these guys, man. And yet they're here to help men. The vast majority of men y'all are appealing to are in those scenarios you're trying to remove the rights from. I swear, it's like some of the fresh and fit bots who are watching these guys online. I think they just like hearing what comes out of their mouths because if they actually listened to what they're saying and understood what they're saying, they realize that fresh and fit is talking about them. Yeah, you brokies who are following them. I don't care how much you spam in the comment section that their messages change your life. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's 100 of you guys out there, right? Millions of you guys. But listen, they're at the end of the day talking about you. They're coming for you. They don't give a shit about you, bro. Like, my goodness. Shantae Nicole with the new membership. Let's get the W's in the chat for Shantae. Shout out to you. I appreciate it. Let's continue. This is crazy.
You got to carry, my nigga.
Yeah.
You get half of a vote. If you have anything past 2005, don't even show up to the booth.
If you have over 25 bodies, good luck, buddy. Your vote doesn't count. Okay?
It doesn't count.
For women, of course.
For women.
For men, 25 plus bodies gives you double the vote.
But if you ain't get no pussy, I don't want to hear your political.
No. Marvin said it's got to be 50. You got to have 50 bodies to understand women to even qualify, right? That's why he recommends guys just going out there sleeping, just have sex. All right. If you listen to Fresh, he says, hey, have sex without condoms because real niggas, they're the only ones that get burned. That's how you know you're a real player. If you get the itch you can't scratch. Yeah, you for real, bro. These are the guys who are saving men out here. One who believes you should go sleep with as many women as possible, and the other one who believes you should do it, but do it without a condom, and hopefully you get some kind of STD because that's a badge of honor in this day and age. I mean, these are today's role models, people.
I don't want to hear it. You ain't got no political views. Can't tell me anything about what the economic structure looks like if you can't get no pussy, nigga. So I don't know what to tell you, bro.
That's so deranged.
In your mind, women. It's a question of should people not engaged in civic duty vote?
Yes, but to be honest with it, let's keep it 1,000. That's gonna immediately put a majority of women as only half voters.
Right.
Exactly. So we must just beat around the bush. I don't know why you did all that. I don't know why you beat around the bush.
Just go for the women.
You know what you wanted to say.
Just go for the women.
I don't know why you beat around the bush.
Oh, y'all niggas are trying to get.
And that's what Tim Pool does, right? He beats around the bush, bro. Like he be smacking that bush harder than his own beanie. I'm just saying, dog. Listen, Tim Pool obviously is a sharp guy. Why doesn't he directly call Myron out on these takes, right? Why do you got to beat around the bush for it, Tim? Huh? Why you beating some bushes out here? Just get to the point.
It clicks, bro. I don't think they mean this shit, bro. I just don't. I think it's such a dumb take. I don't even think you're dumb enough to say it.
So dumb.
That's a career fields and life decisions that women make in general.
Well, so yeah, do you want to respond to that?
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here, but I think part of the problem is that the view, I guess our views of women are so much different because when I think of a woman, I think of a woman who runs a household and raises children and does the most beautiful thing that you can possibly do. So I see so much inherent value, and I think
which we agree is important.
Okay, but I kind of feel like what we're doing here is we've trained as men, women, we've incentivized certain behavior, and now we want to discount them because they're giving the men what they're asking for. Which
there you go.
Instagram ass shots, and
There
then
you
we're saying now
go.
suddenly that they're somehow less valuable.
Takes two to tank.
Listen, there you go. That's so facts. And you know what? Fresh and Fit, they're proving that shit right now. Their platform, all it serves is for these same guys who want to talk about these very same women. It gives them a platform for them to go ahead and message all this hate towards them so they can turn around and sign up for their OnlyFans. Okay? Because these guys who follow Fresh and Fit are the market, right? Because I've been asking the question, who are these people following these OnlyFans girls? Who are these people making these OnlyFans girls millionaires? Who are these men these other red pillars are complaining about? And then after searching far and wide, I realized all I had to do was hold up a mirror to a lot of Fresh and Fit's audience. That right there, fellas, that right there is who's signing up for OnlyFans. Those guys right there, while they're sitting there projecting all their guilt by shaming these women, they're privately out here engaging and making them rich. Bruh, like, again, the guy's right. We're shaming these women for filling a market that the men wanted to begin with.
Go. Well, right. A lot of the stuff that we're saying women do, it's like men.
They're filling demand is all they're doing.
Well, we allowed them to do this, so you are correct in that sense.
God,
men were leaders. But I will say that.
Go ahead. they about to go in on this dumbass. Go ahead.
If we're talking about votes here, women are more easily swayed.
Come on, bro. Like,
No, that's what
he was
he
getting
and he always has to make sure he's establishing
We're leaders, though.
men are better. I understand what you're saying, Tim. I get what you're saying
About that
man.
demand shit,
That
but like
demand shit
it
made
was
a lot
us
of sense.
leading that OnlyFans demand.
But let's be clear, we still let that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right? Don't give women too much fucking credit with this, man.
Hey, listen. I know society kind of sucks right now, and a lot of men are simps, but we led that shit. I just want you to know that. So technically, we're still better because we're men. We led that. Yeah, we led society into the ground. So are you admitting that weak men right now are the ones who were responsible for society's degeneracy? Are you guys admitting that, Fresh? What? Oh, what are you saying, dog?
We led with that.
We still let that shit now.
Yeah.
We still let that.
We still lead.
Because
Number one.
once again, they follow leadership to depending on who they see as important. So
Bro,
ultimately,
am I the only one that thinks Fresh looks like a toad? Like, bro, this nigga looks like a he looks like a toad, bro. Oh my goodness. Look at him, though. He's this guy. You want to tell me this guy out here slept with over 1,500 women? Is this what you want to tell me? How much? What did he say was his number? Was it 15 or 1,000? It was over 1,000. I know that for a fact. Like, do you want me to believe that this guy right here slept with over 1,000 women? I'm like, I just don't believe it. I can't buy it. I'm looking at this guy. I listen to what he says, and I don't see him with 1,000 lay count. It just doesn't make any sense. John, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Says shout out to that liberal who basically mocked them all show, gave them some pressure. Facts. Listen, if Tim Pool's not gonna do it, somebody else has to. More Dib with the $5 super chat. Shout out to you. He says, Duke, there's a video from 10 hours ago where a leftist pulls off Tim's beanie and exposes the bald spot after he was done. Tim threatened to kill him. Oh, it got it. Oh, hey, don't mess with the beanie, bro. That's the only thing that'll get Rolo violent. All right, that's the only thing that'll get somebody violent. You mess with their beanie. But damn, can you send me that video more deep? That'd be crazy as hell. I want to see that. I want to see Tim Pool lose his shit.
speaking, if I'm gonna go for votes, I swear the women, I'm gonna win.
So you're saying, but what you're saying is that we as men are ineffective leaders, and therefore, because we cannot lead properly, that now the women should have a half a vote or no vote or what? Like, to me, I'm always like looking first internally. What did I do? How did I fail here? Or what was the point of failure that happened?
That's right. That's what you
and
do.
Everything I'm hearing is like men have failed in many.
Well, yeah, by letting women vote. So that's how they fail.
But according to Fresh, men led that, so it's still our fault. Shit. Yeah. Hey, we failed, but we failed at letting them vote. Yeah, that's right. We still led that shit though. Don't forget it. Men in charge. It's like, bro, yo, come on. He's laughing about it too. Look at this dumb expression. Yeah, we let it though. Leaders, men number one. Oh my God, dog. Listen, do you understand that's why society's in the mess that we're in? Hey, could it be that the whole patriarchy y'all are trying to get women to go back to? Could y'all just admit that y'all led that? Right now, all of a sudden, we are in an era where people are rejecting that ideology outright. Could it be that y'all were leading with an ideology that people don't give a fuck about and doesn't even vibe well, right, with the current standards? Could it be that right now the rebellion you see against traditional values, could it be that those traditional values represent the failure of men's ability to lead, right? The failure of masculine leadership. Could it be? Could it be? Because these guys are bragging about it, so y'all let me know.
I mean, let's keep it 1,000.
So first, I'll address what you said. I believe the science is clear that women are more agreeable, men are more disagreeable.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's harder to convince a guy. He'll challenge you. He'll headbutt you. A woman is going to try and make things smooth over. There's a lot of
Again, more bro signs. More bro signs, because I have never seen a bigger group of agreeable men than in the manosphere. Matter of fact, the biggest group of agreeable men are Fresh and Fit bots, Fresh and Fit fanboys. Okay, those are the biggest group of. Oh my God, like Tim Pool. What happened to you, bro? What, you know for a fact that's not true. Men are agreeable as all hell. Even look at the crypto scams. Majority of people hit were a bunch of men who were agreeable, right? They couldn't look at a guy clearly pumping a rug pull. All right, they couldn't see the warning signs for what it was. No, they bought right into it because they were agreeable. So this bullshit where it's just like, yeah, because women are weaker because they think more with their fifis, and men are stronger because they have strength, and they do masculine stuff. That's not true. We're actually, now I'm realizing it, we're probably more emotional than most women out there. After what I've experienced in this space alone, yeah, bro, changed my mind. Go ahead, change my mind on that, dog.
Positives to being agreeable and a lot of negatives to being disagreeable, and vice versa. It's pros and cons. Men and women are different and complementary.
Yes.
Now, there's an agenda, though. Of course, we can go deeper here, get more serious. But to be real here, men were at the helm of this because, once again, we put certain policies in place, we allow things to happen, and as a result, the family's destroyed. Now, when it comes to women, obviously, they're human beings as well. Equally, we're all human beings. But to be fair, when it comes to voting,
turn this shit off. The way he explains things really fucking pisses me off. Certain things you don't have to say, bro, because we all know that.
Well, we don't know now.
He's so dumb, bro. This thing is so fucking retarded. Hey, listen, men were still in the leadership, okay? But that goes to show you there's a certain agenda over here because men are the ones that put in the policies. It's like, bro. So, all right, then why are we in a space where we're putting a blame or line the blame squarely on women and feminism if there's an agenda and the men at the top are responsible for it? Shouldn't we be calling those guys out? Why are we calling those guys out? It seems a lot of those men at the top, they're in your chat because they're giving you guys hundreds of thousands of dollars every fucking month. So I'm sorry, because where are these guys at? Like, these Fresh, shut the fuck up, dog. Shut the fuck up, Fresh. You don't even know where you are right now. This dude, bro.
He would have came to voting. He is now establishing,
We're
just
humans.
in case we're humans and we're equal. Just in case you didn't know that out there, playback. We are humans. We are equal. Women are also humans and they are equal. You know, the rhetoric that they spew, you might get confused sometimes, but
Just the way he talks, my brain can't help but just stop thinking. Like, it just tunes everything this fucking goober says out.
as well, equally, we're all human beings. But to be fair, when it comes to voting and political views, they can be swayed in any direction, which means by default, they should vote.
But so
look, man, let's keep it.
let me-
Women
Bro,
are
that's what he said.
He's basically trying to say that, bro, women get swayed emotionally and they're easily swayed when it comes to political votes and whatnot, right? But what he is not mentioning is men get swayed the same way. Why do you think these guys spend billions of dollars on marketing? Listen, being president is one giant marketing campaign on who's more popular. That's it. There's nothing else to it, bro. So if you do things or say things in a certain way, all right, there are a bunch of dudes who are going to vote for you. Case in point, Trump. The vast majority of reasons people voted for Trump is not that he had all these massive, extravagant wealth or education or anything like that. No, it's just that he sounded like the average guy. That's it. And up until then, no one has ever had an average guy in politics before. All right, there's always had these milquetoast, very standardized politicians with these standardized goddamn talking points all day, right? But no one really had a Trump who sounded like your uncle who might do some weird shit if you fall asleep next to him. All right, that's him. And they were like, yeah, we're a bunch of dudes. We know what's right. Let's vote for that guy. So I think men could be easily swayed too, right? I mean, this guy, oh, Fresh, bro. Fresh is such an idiot. He's such an idiot, bro.
Vote, they should vote.
But so
look, man, let's keep it.
let me-
Women are
I don't know what he said. I tried so hard to vote. What did he say?
he's basically saying women are just more easily swayed because they're agreeable more. And because of that, then because they're more agreeable, then it's going to sway in the direction of women voting.
He should have just said that.
Tend to vote Democrat. They tend to vote for, hey, let's give everybody $1 versus giving the best person $1. They don't base their values a lot of times are not aligned with meritocracy. They want everyone to benefit, which is cool, I guess, if you like communism. But if you're
are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, Myron? You see how simple they're trying to make this shit? No. Listen, maybe some Democrats or some people who are leftists, right? Listen, social programs are absolutely important. And you know who are the biggest people who whine about social programs like Social Security? It's white Republican Americans. Go figure. They take advantage of a lot of social welfare systems we have in the United States while simultaneously looking at other racial groups who take advantage of those same social welfare programs that they take advantage of. They look at that and say, hey, you're black, you're Latino, all right, why? Yeah, yes, you guys are on welfare. Pick yourself up by the bootstrap. Meanwhile, these guys are on welfare. This is why these guys had all these privileges afforded to them. Now, all of a sudden, where there's a party that says, hey, how about we kind of make sure we don't have children going homeless? Maybe we don't have women homeless in the streets. Maybe we don't have, homeless veterans out there. Maybe we should have some kind of safety net where, you're not going to die if you get sick in America because you can't afford freaking healthcare. I mean, jeez, bro. How about some aid to people who got completely wiped out medically speaking because they went through some serious situation and now they're medically bankrupt, which is the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States. Think about it. You go to the hospital and you can lose your entire financial well-being. I mean, that's insane. So what's wrong with that? How is that such a, the way y'all think, and you think the Republicans are any better? Do you know where to send your fucking money to? Yeah, the freaking oligarchs who sponsored them to get where they are, because a lot of these guys, they're brainless. I hate when these people fall for this dichotomy of, the Democrat and the Republicans. Listen, they're always coming together to screw you. And the only time they're apart, it's all theater. Because at the end of the day, they come together to screw you. God damn it.
Capitalistic guy, you want the best to succeed.
You like communism. They were just thinking about how they can destroy democracy a second ago. They don't like that, nigga. Ooh, how dare you blame someone else for being anti-democratic after telling people they don't have the right to vote the way you had the right to vote because they work at McDonald's. Oh my God. Is that... No, I think he's being serious, and it's pissing me off. I thought they were joking. I thought they were just grifting, and now I think he's dumb.
Yeah, bro, that's the shit I've been saying this whole time. They're low-key stupid.
What the fuck are we talking about? On God, I thought they was just literally grifting.
No, that's what he said.
But now I think they're being dead ass, and it's genuinely making me concerned.
Yeah, that's what they said, bro.
Wow, what in the cope? What in the cope is going on, you anti-democratic fuck? Don't ever accuse somebody of being, you are the communist in this conversation.
Oh, fuck. In my opinion, a lot of this red pill or manosphere ideology just crumbles because, especially the men who keep blaming women for things. If you all believe that men are the leaders, if you all believe that men are the ones who set things in stone because they have the power, and really up until the last 20, 30 years, men have undeniably had more power in terms of in workforce, voting, and yada, yada, yada for majority of American history, then you would have to agree that men brought us to this point. And the reason why when I watch this and I just watch it back again, it just feels like they're pandering to their audience because their audience, not the nigga, the nigga with the Bugatti in a $100,000 watch who just peels off on a whore who's not going to hop in the car and then hop on the yacht. No, not that nigga. The nigga that's in y'all's chat who then after gets done slandering a woman on the show, then goes to her IG, goes to her OnlyFans, and then pays her money. Those niggas. And you all know for a fact that those niggas are y'all's audience. Those are the people who watch you all. That's literally what you all are doing. And then presenting that to the rest of your audience and then sitting there saying, see, now that's why women shouldn't vote, man.
Matter of fact, I'll do you one better. I actually have the video of Fresh and Fit admitting that last year. You're not gonna see this video online anymore. They deleted it, right? It's gone. But here it is right here, courtesy of your boy. Don't let them know I said.
So basically, right, this guy came on the show and he would talk smack to every single girl. Oh, she looks bad. Oh, she's a 4. Da da da. This is same guy. Donate thousands of dollars, right? $100 each time. He found this one girl on the show, Colombian chick, right? You know who I mean. And he was like, that whole show he didn't super chat at all. I was like, is this guy dead? Is he okay? I mean, he shows up this time to talk shit to girls, right? Lo and behold, we found out from our producer that he actually DM'd the girl, flew her out to Texas, took her out for like a week or two, said, hey, I want you to be my girlfriend. Mind you, this is the same guy that said to every single girl, oh, you're no good. You're lesser than men.
So they were recruiting on y'all show.
But
sometimes,
guess what?
Yeah, we began like Simpson here, like watching us just for that.
But think about this, right? He just met her and wanted to be her boyfriend. It's like these guys, they talk a lot of smack and they pretend behind a camera.
Yeah.
Behind a computer. But deep down, they're the ones snipping the hardest.
Yeah.
They talk a lot of smack and they pretend behind a camera.
Yeah.
Behind a computer. But deep down, they're the ones snipping the hardest.
Yeah.
Do y'all see this? They been knew who their audience are. So Low and the Agent, they're absolutely on the money. Like, part of it is on purpose, right? But I genuinely think that I think Myron actually believes that shit. Like, it'd be hard pressed to convince me he genuinely doesn't believe a lot of things that he believes, because otherwise he wouldn't be such a weirdo. And people around Myron will let you know he's a weirdo, dog. Like, he's got weird habits. And don't get me wrong, those are the same habits that make him high value. But I'm just letting you know it makes you a nerd that has to rely on status and money to pull women. That's what's waiting for all of you high value men. So as long as you guys are content with advertising to the world that you have a shit ton of money so these gold diggers can buzz in like flies and just land on you, all right, go for it. That's exactly what these guys are teaching you. There is no fulfillment at the end of that tunnel, buddy, all right? If you want real fulfillment, you gotta work. And I know these guys say they change your life, and I know they say flowery, magical things that make it seem as though that you're pumped and motivated to transform your life for the better. But I'm gonna just tell you this, all right? That's just a placebo effect. You're not actually gonna do anything, and these guys know it. Matter of fact, these guys know so much that they have little respect for you because they also know you're going to be simping for these very same girls that are on their show. I mean, why not? That's the whole reason they brought them there to begin with, for your eyes only. And the moment you find yourself signing up for that OnlyFans account, they got you. You just finished off the business end of a lucrative contract with that Fresh and Fit signed with those girls. That's just what it is, all right? NDA, whatever the hell you want to call it. They bring in the viewership, which is you, and then you sign up for their OnlyFans, and then they get reimbursed for their time. You see that? It's the circle of pimping. But you fucks are in the middle of it.
18 to 22 is this dating pool range.
Oh, by the way, we're in the real live stream now. All right, so gear up. This one's about to be tough. We're in the live stream now. So let's get it.
You're typically not going to run into, when I was younger, a 22-year-old, chick dating a 35-year-old guy or anything like that, because they just don't know them. Then MySpace pops up, Facebook pops up. You start getting a little bit of this, but then you get OkCupid, you get Tinder, and what happens? Now you've got a guy who's 20 years old and he lives in a dorm. He's living in a dorm, same as anybody else in this college. He sends a message to a 20-year-old girl that he knows that they met at a party or they have class together, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come hang out?" Sure. This guy's kind of attractive. She likes him. What are you doing? He's like, we're hanging out at home. We're watching a movie. We're going to order pizza, or we can just go see a show, down the street at one of the venues. And she's like, "Oh, that sounds really fun." Then she gets hit up on Tinder by a guy who's 35. "Hey, you want to hang out and go do something?" "Sure. What do you have in mind?" "I'll come by, pick you up in my, Mitsubishi Spider convertible. We'll drive down to the lake. Then I'll take you out to a nice dinner and we'll have steak." Which one is she going to pick? Now, of course, some women are going to be like, "I'd rather hang out with my friends and my community." But there is an increased pressure now where younger women have access to higher value guys. And I mean that in status wise, wealth wise, access. And it's a question of this dude's going to bring you to a rooftop bar downtown. He makes $70,000 a year. He's not the richest guy in the world, but for you, a broke college student in debt, he's going to buy you a nice dinner. He's going to get you drinks, and you're going to overlook the city. And then, that sounds so much fun. Or you can hang out in the dorm with your buddies who are also poor.
And here's the other thing too. One of the biggest complaints that we get from guys that are in the dating marketplace is the flake rate. Women plan a date with them. "Oh, I'll come out with you, blah, blah, blah." And then she doesn't show up, or she doesn't respond to text or whatever. Anytime a girl flakes on a guy, what it simply means is something better came along. And thanks to the internet, thanks to Instagram, thanks to dating apps, etc., which dating apps heavily favor women, by the way. Guys absolutely fail dating apps. Only about 5% of guys even get swiped right in the first place. Women have more abundance than ever before, and they have more options than ever before. And I don't think guys understand. We've interviewed 2,500 women now at this point on our show, from different socioeconomic statuses, different professions, different backgrounds.
Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. They're all OnlyFans broads. No, what? Different backgrounds? Really? They're gonna come up with that? And these guys, they're talking about, "Oh, well, listen, yeah, the flake rate's so abundant in these social dating app scene. Okay, the flake rate is insane. Okay, women, they just have all this abundance, and they have this plethora of options, and the poor lonely guy who doesn't look as good as the next guy, okay, they get flaked. Okay, and here's the thing, that is absolutely part of it, right? Notice I said part of it, okay? That happens. There are women who flake for, let's say, a better option, right? Because, it's a better option that suits her, so she goes with that. Just like some guys do that, right? If you have one a girl here, but there's another girl you find more attractive than the other one, you'd flake on that one to go with the more attractive one. I mean, everyone would go with the best possible option that's presented to them. So that's what dating app does, and although it does that in abundance, right? And on top of that, what he's not also considering is that most women who use dating apps, the whole reason why they flake in the first place is because they're not serious when they're going on these dating apps. So Fresh and Fit, they're trying to make it seem as though that women are going to flake on you because, look, let's say you're a guy, you're texting back and forth with a girl, and she stops talking. All of a sudden, it just dead, right? It's happened to me. It happens to a lot of guys. Some of y'all in the chat, it's probably already happened to, okay? I'm not tripping about it. You're not tripping about it. Apparently, Myron, he can't imagine a woman flaking on him. But it happens, okay? You're a guy, you're talking to a girl, all of a sudden the conversation dies. You do what you can to follow up, but it just doesn't happen, right? So you move the fuck on. Okay, what Fresh and Fit is trying to say in that scenario is that the reason the girl flaked you, the sole reason she flaked you, is because she found some kind of hotter Chad who's richer, all right, and her hypergamy, his instincts took in, and she decided to go with him. And now, you know, it's like that on every guy she meets, right? She's always trading up for the next one, which is not true. Most girls will just get a dating app, flirt with you for a bit, and then just get their validation and leave. That they're not really interested, particularly in actually meeting up with guys or having sex with them or doing anything like that. Maybe if you really are persistent, right? If you're really persistent, then and you get their attention again, then yeah. And sometimes, and that has actually happened to me where I've been flaked by a girl. Like all of a sudden, like we're talking on Tinder, conversation dies. I don't know where she went. Follow up 2 or 3 times, it's done. And then the next minute, like literally a month later, hit me up like, oh my God, I didn't see this. I don't even check my app like that. Like it's like, whoa, okay, you know, you pick up where you get off because I'm not butthurt, right? Because there are numerous other reasons, right? And another thing, actually, when I met up with that one girl, particularly, she was like, she doesn't take those apps seriously, right? She just uses it to kind of like, you know, kind of mess, like what we call it, like it's like sporting for her, right? So she just goes on, likes to have conversations, but generally doesn't like to take it further than that. She just likes the conversational aspects on that. There are women who are on social media dating apps that will do that. So for those guys who get ghosted, what Fresh and Fit, they're putting the wrong ideas in your head. A lot of times it's not because the girl has better options. It's just that realistically, she probably wasn't interested in you, or not interested in you, probably just interested in the conversation only, or she might actually be that insecure where she is getting close to meeting up with you, and then her insecurities take over, and she's like, maybe not. I'm better off just staying at home with sweatpants and, you know, watching, you know, Grey's Anatomy and whatever it is. These bro, I'm telling you again. Listen, the more I hear guys like Fresh and Myron speak about women, dating apps, and all these different things, the more I'm starting to really understand these guys don't understand women at all. They don't actually talk to women, and if they do, they're talking at women more than actually listening to what women say. So it's just crazy. I know it's beta to listen to what women say, but maybe if you just listen to what women say, you can avoid getting, you know, the wrong end of the stick. I'm just saying. John, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. John says, 1,000 women with several NBA dudes running trains. Yo, I don't think Fresh slept with 1,000 women, right? If Myron said it, maybe I'd believe it. But if Fresh says it, I'm like, you're lying. You're lying. There ain't no way Fresh slept with over 1,000 women. That dude, come on, bro. He can't even formulate a sentence. And here's the thing. I got speech impediment. It's not as bad as Fresh is, because sometimes you guys will see me, I stutter sometimes and things like that. I really got a lid on it. It used to be really bad, okay? So that's why I actually don't feel bad for Fresh, because, again, these guys want to bring back bullying. Hey, listen, go ahead and get yourself some actual speech therapist that'll help you out, okay? All this, and then you're not making coherent sentences, dog. Like, be Fresh. You bring that shit on yourself. What woman is sleeping with you, yet alone 1,000? Make it make sense, dog. I can't make sense of it. Oscar Perez, shout out to you for $5 super chat. Oscar says, I sent you the link to the E-Date video. I send you via Gmail. Bet. We're going to get a video on that. That's an instant video. That's an instant video right there. If I'm watching it and it's as good as you say it is, it's an instant video. So, hey, Oscar just sponsored our next video. Shout out to you. Don Juan Players, where the hell have you been? Shout out to you. Thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, Ninja Fresh Toad. Yeah, bro. Dude looks like the long lost member of the Ninja Turtle Squad. That's Fresh right there. Call him Walter Tello. Jesus Christ. Amanya with the $10 super chat. Shout out to you. He says, why do they not talk about women who are nurses, doctors, surgeons, lawyers, engineers, scientists, professors? Maybe because they are educated and experienced enough to see through their fake bravado. Facts. That's the only reason why they wouldn't talk to girls like that, is because those girls will see through it. Matter of fact, they've actually accidentally platformed those girls, right? Because some of these girls, you know, if they're wearing nice, you know, revealing clothing and things like that, and they're looking good, right? A lot of these men, they can't distinguish them from an OnlyFans woman. And sometimes those women have actually gone on Fresh and Fit show, and they've given Myron the business. And what happens to them? They get Frank Castle, because Myron cannot stand being showed up by another woman on his own show. Okay, that's an abomination. It goes to show you, man, these guys, they know exactly the image they're trying to put out there. They're just lying about what they're actually doing, which is just so sad, because you ain't got to lie. John with the $2 super chat shout out. He says Myron will only give females to mask the gayness. Hey man, listen, a lot of people with anger, and when they speak about the LGBTQ the way they do, you really got to check into them because there might be some repressed emotions out there. Listen, there are real gay people that have actually dealt with that shit, right? Where before they actually fully came out, they were actually, doing the same crap Myron did, okay? And then, they came out and said, I was in a hateful state, I was in denial, I couldn't really accept my true self, and now that I've come out of the closet, I'm no longer angry, a lot of that stuff has subsided. So maybe that's all Myron needs to do. Just step in the closet and then step out. Hopefully he steps out a brand new man. I don't know. But the way these guys speak about LGBTQ and all this nonsense, it just makes you think. It's like, because listen, I'm straight. A lot of people, if you're straight, that I know, they're not worried about this gay stuff. They're not sitting there talking about, oh, you're worried about the transgender agenda. You're worried about the gay agenda, right? We're not sitting there worried about that. We're not even worried about gay people, period. We're worried about our own lives, bills to pay, and, kids, and the next barbecue or get together. We ain't worried about what the gay dude's doing because some of these people have gay people in their family as family members. They have gay people as siblings. Some of them are like gay people as colleagues. So again, if you're not gay, you shouldn't be threatened like that enough to be speaking the way these guys speak. So it leads me to two options. Either they're doing this on purpose to be shock jocks, or they're in a closet. It's one of those two, but it can't be both. Let's continue.
Different everything, right?
Countries
Different
too.
classes, different countries, countries, social structures, religion, everything. We've literally interviewed women at all different levels on our podcast. And what I've come to realize is the abundance of options that modern day women have is absolutely influenced how they view the opposite gender. Most women, unfortunately, do not respect most men. Most women think most men are below them. They would not date most men. They think most men are invisible, and they think most men are inferior to them when it comes to, I want a top tier guy. Because when I ask girls, what do you want in a man? And we actually ask them, they always describe a guy in the top 2 to 3%.
I would say
he's not being honest though, because the women he asked are women that are on the show, and those women are used to top 10% of men flooding their OnlyFans accounts with thousands of dollars every month. So of course they're gonna be looking for guys with six figures. And come to think of it, those women who are not on OnlyFans, they get primed with that idea of six figures by a lot of these red pill bozos putting that information out there. Think about it. If you have a bunch of guys online constantly whining about how women only care about guys who will make six figures, and then they're looking at the red pill where it seems like a bunch of guys seemingly are randomly making six figures here and there from listening to these content creators, you guys are the ones responsible for elevating that expectation for these women to believe that you guys are actually, all of you guys are actually six-figure earners. And now that you got the girl to believe that you're a six-figure earner, you're now mad that all women have this high expectation for you. Then stop capping online. Because I know all y'all coming on these comment section, yeah, Fresh and Fit changed my life. I bought the course and now I'm making six figures. You're a liar. Shut the fuck up. All of a sudden now, millions of people all of a sudden making six figures around the world because of these bozos. Get out of here with that bullshit. Chances are you guys fed into that delusion and you lied. And don't get mad at some girl who comes up there, looks at Fresh and Fit's platform, reads your comment, and reads majority of other men's comment who are acting all desperate like y'all and say, oh, well, I guess these guys, they're all making six figures here. I guess that's the new standard. You can't get mad at that. You said it. Jeez, bro. These guys, like they complain about the problems they create. I don't get it. Deb with the $2 super chat. Shout out to you, because talking and critical thinking is too hard. You can't find critical thinking anywhere, especially with the new generation. All right, and I don't want to be one of those old boomer fucks that's like, you generation and you guys. But listen, with the rise of Andrew Tate, I think I'm in a good place to kind of criticize the younger generation. I think so, right? Like, hey, what do y'all see in this guy? Like, what's going? He's a clear pedophiliac trafficker, if pedophiliac is a word, right? But like, this guy traffics underage girls. Like, why is he some kind of hero? Aiden Ross, all right? I mean, these guys don't make any sense. Don Juan play the shot to for the $2 super chat. Says Duke Alex PWF met ND interview Myron's girlfriend. She lies. Who's ND? Can you let me know who ND is, Don? In the chat, let me know. But yeah, who did Alex debate? Did he didn't debate Myron. I don't think Alex debated Myron. Myron, he wouldn't want to do a debate with Alex. Matter of fact, Myron was the one that told Donnie Boy to never go on a debate with Alex again after the last time he won a debate with Alex and got bodied. So you can tell these guys, they get embarrassed every time they come out with red pill talking points against people who actually know what they're talking about. Jackson Stack with the $10 super chat. Shout out to you. He says, is this finally the end of the red pill Duke? Nah. Sad to say, it's not, bro. What's gonna happen is just gonna retake a different shape, and the new shape is the conservative movement. That's the new red pill. It's being absorbed into that. The whole Andrew Tate phenomenon, the whole red pill phenomenon, it's becoming the conservative phenomenon. That's essentially what it is. So it's dying in a sense where a lot of these guys who are not going to make the cut anyways, once the shit goes mainstream, those are the guys that are moving out, right? Like Rolo and maybe Myron and some of these guys, they're not going to make it in this new style of red pill. But if somehow they can figure out how to get Andrew Tate off the hook, yeah, they're going with him, and they're going to be pushing him, Alex Jones, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk. That's the mainstream conservative movement right there, and you're going to see them all pick up that wave and run with it, because at the end of the day, they have access to a demographic. A lot of these Democrats and liberals only wish they do, right? A bunch of young 20-something-year-old males. That's it. Right, and the left doesn't have that same kind of power because there's no left version of Andrew Tate, because the left doesn't spew a lot of this bullshit that you'll find with Andrew Tate and these conspiracy wackos, right? That's just what it is. So it's not dead, it's just taking on a new form, and it's actually, if anything, more dangerous. We see how Candace Owens gets when she's defending Andrew Tate by victim shaming a goddamn victim, someone who was raped by older men, putting the blame on that victim. Candace Owens has a massive platform, and she did that. Imagine if that was her daughter. She took the side of traffickers over a victim, all because of what the trafficker said about her and her character, which is crazy, bro. It's crazy. Yeah, it's taking on a new shape. That's the red pill. More deep with the $2 super chats. Duke just sent an email about Tim's bald spot. Yeah, we gonna pull all of that up, man. A whole lot of that up. We got it.
That's maybe it's too bold to say statistically proven, but I would say we have seen tons of data showing exactly what you said is most likely to be the case. I think it was Tinder or OkCupid's data showing that the average man has a natural bell curve for female attraction and value, and the average female has a super warped curve.
Yes.
That they only look at men. They would rate 8. Men that are on average rated 8 to 10 are deemed average, and for men the bell curve is normal. Like the average woman is average.
Yeah.
The ugly woman is ugly. The beautiful woman is beautiful. For women, almost all guys, 80% of men, they deem unworthy or unattractive.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the solution to this then is to say, engage in it. Perhaps the solution is get away from these, areas full of debauchery, go out to smaller areas and find something more wholesome. If cities have embraced this culture to this degree, then perhaps the solution is to recognize that and get away from it.
So why don't you call Fresh and Fit out? Because they're in the biggest city of all, Miami. So they're in Miami, the biggest city of all, with a skewed view about how women behavior and how the female nature is. Yet they're preaching to guys from their city who live all across the country about how women are. But here's Tim Pool saying, well, cities can be an influence too. So why don't you call them out? They're heavily influenced by city girls. All these guys are influenced by city girls, so much to the point that all they want is a city girl. So call them out.
You can, but that does not necessarily save you, because that woman is still going to be open to the globalized sexual marketplace. She still might go to college in an area where she might still go to university where being promiscuous and everything is encouraged. At University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, someone sent me a picture of this. They're literally giving girls honey packs and condoms.
Y'all are just thinking too short term and too self-focused, in my opinion. Like, so
I want to see what this guy's got to say. He gets it. He sounds like he gets it.
I'm thinking in generations, right? Like, how long did it take us to get to this point as a society? All the things which a lot of it's true, and you cannot argue with a lot of the points you just made. 100%.
Centuries.
It's a big. I wouldn't say centuries. I would say, well, maybe overall. But
This
you look at
nigga said centuries. America's only 200 years old, over 200 years old. Centuries, bro. What are you talking about? It hasn't been that long, bro. Like, this has been, like, you could say decades, yeah, but like centuries, bro. Men's been dominating shit for centuries. Women didn't have say-sos in centuries. Matter of fact, centuries ago, a woman would be burned at the stake for doing math. That's what centuries was. So what is a fresh, my boy? Shut the fuck up. For real, dog. Shut up.
Past 50 years or so,
yeah,
and you can see the writing on the wall of what has happened to the nuclear family, what's happened to society, the way women are viewed, the whole deal. And so the solution to me is a generational one, and what it is that when the high value men demand something different and are open to something different and saying, you know what, this Instagram, like, let me fly you out to Bali on my private jet deal is no longer attractive to them. because they have a higher standard that they're setting for themselves. Hopefully my sons, who will be, you know,
the women are not attracted to that anymore. Is what
no,
you're saying?
I'm saying the men are saying we want something different. We don't want the Instagram hoe that I can fly in overnight just to have a quick, you know,
That is biology.
That's never
though.
happening.
That's
Okay,
biology.
but
That's biology.
With all due respect, that's never.
Yeah.
No, but hold on.
Yeah,
Like,
go ahead.
I agree a lot with what he's saying. Imagine if women are only looking at the top 8, 9, 10 of men.
Yeah.
If guys like you just started shaming women, do they? You know who's paying for OnlyFans, right? It's lower quality
100%.
guys.
Yeah.
So if
100%.
high quality dudes who got really nice watches and pull up in a Bugatti, and this woman's like, yeah, I want to come hang with you, and he goes, so yeah, what's your body count? And he goes, how dare you ask me that? I don't want no hoe in my car. And he takes off.
Yeah.
Now she's embarrassed. She got shut down, and more women are going to say, if I want a high value man, because only the guys are going to come after me, are going to be high
So
value.
maybe
let's
flip
be real here, though.
maybe
Okay, we're
flip
gonna turn this into the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
It's the Dreamcast. Now let's talk.
Yo,
but
let's be
you're-
real here. As men, we gotta be honest here, bro. We smashing whatever's possible, and if they're bad,
Speak
you know
for
we're saying no.
yourself.
Yeah.
What the oh my God. So if we're smashing whatever is possible, why are we getting mad that then we're adding to the body count of these same ladies? So then they go meet the next guy. He asked her about the body count. Well, she got to list the fact that she'd already been through you because, you know, well, you're a guy and you got no control over your balls, right? I mean, God, so could somebody put a tape over his mouth? He's not adding anything to this combo. This dude, bro, shut up.
Yeah, speak for yourself,
Bro,
though.
when you were single,
Okay.
right, and you were my age, right, what were you doing?
I would call myself stupid. Is what I would call myself stupid, immature.
But you were still smashing.
Okay.
These guys are teenagers. These people are teenagers, bruh. These people, this is revenge of the nerds through and through. What the fuck? These people are absolute children. Look,
I would call myself stupid, immature, not brought up properly, not taught the things that actually make me into a high value man. So I think you need to flip the equation. You say the women have all the power, but what you're saying is what we're really saying.
No,
is
actually,
the top tier of men, you're saying get to have their pick of the women. Who has the power then to
I've said it a
set
million
the
times.
standard?
I've actually said this a million times. What feminism actually did was it inadvertently gave the top 1% of guys all the leverage.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
I've said
what are you talking about? For generations, for centuries, if you want to put it the freshest terms, the top 1% of the guys have always been in that position. That what these guys are talking about is illusion, right? The feminism didn't automatically put the top percentage of guys in that position. No, if you were back in the day where feminism didn't exist and you were a noble, you were a king, you were a duke, you were some high society kind of individual, you had your pick. Listen, power didn't change for people at the top. Like, what are we talking about here, dude? So all of a sudden now, at the rise of feminism, it gave the top guys what they wanted. No, I would argue the top guys always get what they wanted. That's why they're up there. So, like, this crazy ass illusion these people are putting out there, it's insane. Don Juan, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. He says fresh equals 50% of all college girls get flown out. See, he says shit like that. It lets you know the mentality these bozos are coming from. They don't know anything. That's why, listen, I wasn't kidding. These guys, this podcast, all it proved is that these people know nothing. They're absolutely clueless when it comes to understanding women and female nature. But they've made millions selling courses about women and female nature to these men out here. And you want to talk about they're saving lives? That's the grift they want to lean on. They're saving lives. So whenever you guys get criticized, you want to rely on, oh, we save lives. But your methods aren't doing anything because people who know what you guys are up to, they know you're on bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Said that a million times. But my thing is this. I get what you're saying. That's ideal, but it's not real because let me explain to you why this will never work. Even though it sounds great on paper, why it'll never work. A man that's successful, that has a private jet, that's earned millions of dollars, that's acquired status, etc. They busted their ass to get to that point. You think he's going to sit there and only hook up with one girl? I always use a candy store analogy. Yeah, and he's banging a bunch of chicks now, right?
Did you see the South Park episode they did about this?
Yeah.
They were all shocked. Like, how is this happening that wealthy, successful men keep having sex with all these women?
Yeah.
What's going on?
That's hilarious.
And it's because, and it's like, even though we should tell guys, exercise sexual temperance, stop doing this, blah, blah, blah. The guys that become successful are going to look at you, flip the bird and be like, I'm going to continue to do this. I had to bust my ass to get this position. And one of the first things that guys do once they make money is they start going crazy with girls. So realistically speaking, the guys are never going to stop trying to bang girls. And then the girls that are looking for status and experiences, etc., they're never going to want to go keep chasing the top 1% guys because it's embedded in our biology. And then
let me stop him right there. So what this guy negates to mention is when these guys finally become successful men, what he's not mentioning is it's not this. Listen, there's not a magical level that you reach of high value that all of a sudden women are just gonna get that spidey sense and turn around and say, oh yeah, this guy, he all of a sudden just reached high value status. Let me just gravitate towards him and then have him, date me, right? That's not how it works. All right. A lot of times when these guys work so hard and become high value, they lead with their money. That's how they get these girls. They're essentially announcing to the world, okay, I'm here. I got money now. All right. And you're attracting the wrong type of women. That's it. Okay. Because realistically, you got to understand, there's only few amounts of men out there that are at the top. A very, very few percent that could be out there to be part of the 1% or the top 3% or the top 5%, right? Right. The most amount of people are going to congregate right there in the middle. They're going to be average. They're going to be making average income, right? So we know we have a bunch of average guys. We have a bunch of average girls. I'm going to tell you this, Fresh, 50% of these average girls aren't getting flown out like that. And I'm going to tell you one other thing. These average women, guess what happens when the top guys doesn't pick all of them? Well, these average guys, the average women tend to sleep with average guys because not all of them are out here chasing these high value men. That's not how that works. Okay, these average guys are getting lucky. Where are you guys at? This is the thing that further drives me to believe that a lot of you guys are just waiting on you to hit success financially because that's the only way you feel as though you have a chance. Because out here, they're average people winning all day long. All right. All day long. So you got to ask yourself this question. And I know it's hard because it involves self-reflection. What is the difference between you? Think about it. This guy want to sell a dream about to be a top dog every woman wants. You got to work hard, do all this stuff. Now, although that helps, it's not the end all be all. You could be a top value guy and then be like Jeff Bezos, and she can look at someone who's like Leonardo DiCaprio and say, hey, he's sexier. I'll just go with him. Why not? I mean, even though Jeff Bezos, the richest high value man ever, we're just going to go with that guy. It's all about preferences and the type of women you attract. These guys are giving you half truth. It's just all half truth, bro. I can't stand it. Don, shout out to you. Says anything possible. Fresh at it again. Damn. Yeah, Fresh is so dumb. Like, he's just so dumb. I am Victoria. Shout out to you. Where have you been? Welcome to the stream. They'll give it a $10 super chat. It says, in the words of KS, they're creating a problem that they're complaining about. What the F? Make it make sense. Facts. Fresh and Fit needs to be quiet, adding nothing to the conversation except exposing his own ignorance. That's all it is, right? It's like, hey, if you know you're stupid, just keep your mouth shut so the rest of the world doesn't know you're stupid. And that's Fresh. He doesn't get the memo yet.
On top of that, it's never going to change because women worked really hard during feminism. They worked really hard to get the same equality and opportunities that men have. So they're never going to go ahead and say, you know what? We want to go back to the kitchen and serve a man and, be a dutiful wife. No, they only want to do that for a small percentage of men that are the same guys that don't want to commit.
Let me see. We are in the game currently, right? You guys might be out of the game and you're married and stuff like that. Understandable. I have friends, high value guys, so to speak. They're successful. I see their DMs. I have girls that are cool, beautiful girls. I see their DMs. What do you see? You see them in Dubai. You see them in Miami. You see them in Costa Rica. You see them everywhere, right? Who's paying for these trips? We are. Now, to be fair.
Shut up! You just admitted a bunch of these guys who are high value or simps. That's why Myron's got that face right now. Oh my God. Yo, this is why you can't have him as a debate partner, bro, because he's just going to end up exposing you. Yeah, listen, these girls, think about it. When they talk about Dubai, they talk about all these extravagant trips. Who do you think pays for it? We do. Wait, that's not the point, Fresh. That wasn't the question. Time out. Yo, this guy's retarded, bro. Look at Byron.
Here, I agree with you. They should stop. But will they? No. So guess what? And hold on.
Yeah, listen, they're not going to stop because Bozo's like, you keep paying for it, you dumbass. Jesus, what are you saying? Listen to this guy.
Understandable. I have friends, high value guys, so to speak. They're successful. I see their DMs. I have girls that are cool, beautiful girls. I see their DMs. What do you see? You see them in Dubai. You see them in Miami. You see them in Costa Rica. You see them everywhere, right? Who's paying for these trips? We are. Now, to be fair here, I agree with you. They should stop. But will they? No. So guess what? And hold on. The worst part? These girls, some of them are married, have boyfriends, and they'll never know. Oh, I'm going on a girl trip, honey. I'll be back soon. Someone's find them out. I'm just saying, generally speaking, most guys will never stop.
It just feels like what we're...
Okay, so why is this a woman's fault? Why is this, if men are the ones driving this trend, Why are we blaming women? Why aren't we pointing the finger at the root cause? The men, right? The same bots you guys are catering through this entire time. You don't want to call out, yet you're admitting that these guys are the problem. So call them out. Stop laying the blame at the feet of the women, right? It's not their fault. It's the men who are willing to fly them out. Because if men weren't flying them out, if men weren't feeding into their OnlyFans account like fiends, if men had a little bit more self-control, maybe we wouldn't be in this mess where we lose control of the women, right? But no, we don't want to take accountability because that's not what the red pill is all about. Men can't take accountability in this space. Absolutely not. No, it's the women's fault. Yeah, just blame them. Feminism. Yeah, ever since feminism became a thing, that's where it all started right there. Yeah, no, it's not that a bunch of these dudes are paying for OnlyFans. No, leave them alone. The women are the ones who got naked. They got these poor, confused men all set up. That's what these women do. They just prey on these men just to make easy money on OnlyFans. Like these guys. You could definitely picture them making an argument too. These guys are weird, bro.
What we're saying is like
It's pessimistic. I know.
you're saying the system is really messed up, and so therefore let's just enjoy it. Like I just
Not
can't
enjoy, adapt.
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 Let me put my political mind
Yeah,
to all of
please.
this and show you the roadmap I see. When I look at this data that these guys aren't having sex, and we're saying that it's the wealthy, successful guys that are getting access to all the women.
Yeah.
Think about what that means in terms of human civilization, reproduction.
It just means that rich guys are paying for OnlyFans girls and girls on Instagram. That's all it means. Get that. Hey, this is why you shouldn't apply politics to human relationships. Okay, that doesn't work. You sound like a goober.
Means that slightly above average to below average. I'm talking about like 70% of men and down are not going to be reproducing or having a hard time doing it.
Yeah.
Only the strongest, smartest, most successful, cunning are going to reach a level of status where they're going to be having access to all these women. This means that mathematically, you can look at it from a mathematical equation over a longer period of time. There's a higher standard of men reproducing and the lower standard of men are failing to reproduce. And this seems more carnal.
You stupid fuck. Your mathematical equation does not make any sense. Hey, I can see why you became a journalist instead of a math major. You sound dumb. Listen, it's the poor people. The average people are the ones who are having kids. People who are wealthier on average do not have that many kids. Some of them maybe have one, maybe have two. It doesn't matter. They're not having kids in mass. They're not having multiple different women. I mean, they're sleeping with them, but they're not. We're talking about reproduction. What are you talking about? Oh, Tim, your math skills sucks, buddy. It's like, hey, listen, it's the poor people who reproduce the most. And if the poor people are reproducing, that means they're having access to more women than rich people are doing, right? I mean, that's the only way the equation makes up in my mind, right? Because the rich people, less kids, so meaning they don't move around and deal with partners that often. It's poor people who are sitting there having kids out of wedlock or we want to talk about the single mother rate being as high. It's higher in poorer communities, right? Poorer people, whether you're white or black, it don't matter. If you're poor, chances are there's a high likelihood you might be a single mom or be part of a single mother community. So a lot of these single mothers, well, guess what? If they're in these average homes and whatnot, means their daddies are also average, right? And if they're average, meaning they probably make average incomes, meaning these guys aren't high-value, wealthy men because, I mean, what, you think we have a whole community out here where a lot of these women who are single mothers just got impregnated by high-value men and got dumped, right? No, that's not the case. Average men are doing that because average men are more likely to have more kids or procreate. This freaking notion that you have to work super freaking hard, all right, make a shit ton of money just so you get chance at some chick's box, okay? That's wrong. You can do it right now. You just gotta figure out how to get a personality or something. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, bro. Like, these guys are selling you a snake oil.
Than what society used to be, right? It feels more like what chimps do, where it's like the alpha beats the crap out of their dudes and then bangs all the women, and then all the babies come from one strongest guy.
Yeah.
There's a problem here for human civilization. When it comes to other mammal species and the way they engage in reproduction, it doesn't matter to any of us or anyone in these areas where there are, primates or mammals that engage in that kind of pair bonding. But in human civilization, what we do know is when there are large quantities of men who are unpaired, society breaks down.
Absolutely.
You get crime, chaos, violence, social disorder, and then eventually collapse of governance. We've talked about this quite a great deal when looking at communist nations and the rise of revolution. It is purposeless young men, and they're going to put that energy somewhere.
Absolutely.
That's not true because governments have been dealing with this throughout history. It's always listen. What you think throughout history? Every man in a village or civilization got access to a woman. No, it was the inequality in terms of men to female ratio was way worse back then than we could even like. It was bad. Not all men within the city walls were getting boxed. But do you know how governments dealt with that problem? War. Yeah, just send off all the unpaired men off to die. That's all it is. You thin the herd, and then that's what happens. Oh, and guess what? Guess what kind of climate condition we're in right now? Could it be a condition that could be ripe for war, where we got dictatorial strong men popping up all over the world? We got alliances being broken and rearranged all over here. Like, could it be that we're in a situation where society has an overabundance amount of men who are, let's say, unpaired or not having as much sex, okay? And then we got war getting ready to brew across the world. What do you think the government's going to do with all of these frustrated young men that want to just get out their frustrations and urges? Yeah, send those bozos to boot camp. That's what you do right there. So Tim Pool trying to make it seem like, yeah, they're gonna take over the government and the society's gonna crumble. Not the U.S. They're just too damn powerful. I don't know what else you guys like. This conspiracy where these guys are trying to make it seem like the little guys are gonna take on the big guys. That's not happening, dog. The U.S. is just too damn powerful. You're not doing it. They're not gonna go broke anytime soon because they got a shit ton of assets. Even assets you wouldn't even believe. Okay, they got it. They're not going broke anytime soon. They got too much weaponry and power and control. It's just it. They might lose influence on one part of the world and retreat on the other side here. But at the end of the day, dominance is dominance, and they got it. So this fact of internally these guys who believe in conspiracy theories are going to upend and overthrow the government. Hey, what happened to that insurrection y'all had? That didn't end up too well, did it? Matter of fact, it seemed like the government they were okay with it. Like, hey, come on in. Hey, yeah, this is the capital over here and whatnot. And then afterwards, they arrested all you fucks. They arrested y'all and they got the media to slander y'all. Listen, when Trump tells you to show up to debate, or not a debate, when he tells you to show up to a protest, don't listen to him, okay? Because Trump's not a guy who likes to stand by his own words. I'm sorry, you right-wingers, you love him. I get it. He's your Jesus. But this guy is a scumbag. He's always been a scumbag, and he will forever be a scumbag. And the fact that you guys are pandering this hard to get him elected, it's just the worst thing in the world. There's no chance of him being reelected anytime soon. So what is the term? There's a term for this, right? Where you're president, but you only got one term. Like, that's just such a waste of time. But again, if you got a bunch of emotional people on the right who just want to get someone in at all costs, y'all not thinking strategically on how to win an election. I'm sorry I had to divert into that tangent. That was weird. That was a crazy tangent. But Don, bruh, yeah, this is what it is. Shout out to you. Don again says, Jeffrey Miller, PhD, who had the Twitter beef with Trollo, is also against it. Duke, you should interview all these guys. They won't talk to me, bro. They won't. Well, Tomasi would never talk to me. He's too much of a pussy. Shout out to you, Deb, for the super chat. Says, burn the system because they can't get laid. That's the idea. And it's dangerous. These incels are not playing. I mean, it's funny because we can laugh at them and clown them. I think idiots need to be, clowned, especially if they say and do idiotic things. But some of these idiots, they're not playing. They're for real deranged. So I guess maybe don't laugh at them. I don't know. Maybe these guys on the internet, but I don't know. Again, you never know who you're talking to. But I think, these incels, they're not a joke, man. When they get angry, they're blaming everybody but themselves. No accountability.
If we're building a system that has cut off large portions of men from dating, they will figure out something to do with it. At idle hands, the devil's playground.
Yeah.
So while you may say in the short term, there is a net evolutionary positive in that the smartest, quickest, strongest men are having are more likely to have families, then you also have to contend with the rest of men will burn that system to the ground.
100%.
So Andrew Tate is famous for saying this competition being held at high levels, low levels for men always, right? And look at Nick Cannon. He has what, 11 kids? Akon, 20 kids. So you're right. The top guys are getting most of the kids. Trump as well. Now, are you guys Christian, by the way? Are you Christian?
I'm not Christian. I believe in God, but I'm not.
Okay. So if you're Christian, you know what's going to happen. Revelations speaks about it. End times, it's pretty much like this is going to happen no matter what you do. However, you can save a few people by talking to them directly, telling the truth. But my thing is like, it's going to happen anyway. So why not just adapt to it, be the best man you can be, and try to win? Because I think you can't really change it, to be honest with you.
You can change your life. You can make your
Yeah.
I'm very much focused on the things that I can control in my own life and building a fortress around my family financially, mentally, spiritually. And I know it's possible because I've done it, and I'm not particularly special. Like, I'm not super intelligent. I work really hard, and I've been.
Buddy's an average guy. Like, he's just an average dude. Like, listen, you would be surprised if you really put your mind to it. A lot of y'all red pillars, y'all just afraid to look in the mirror.
Successful because I was committed to a purpose, and most of that purpose came from my children. Once I had children, it was a different ball. And you can track my net worth and my everything from when my first son was born. It's like a flip switched and boom.
Yeah.
It's like a different level of purpose. And
I feel what he's saying, because that's how I was when I had my daughter. I was wild. I was moved, bro. Like, you couldn't tame me. Dude, I'm gonna tell you that right now. And even OGs that try to talk to me, I would like clown them because I would think it was all about sex and oh yeah, these guys are just telling me to slow down because they can't get boxed. I was stupid. Looking back at that now, I couldn't believe how naive I was. But when I had my kid, a flip switch, just like he's saying right now. All of a sudden, I went from a guy with no direction, like a young guy with no direction, to all of a sudden someone who's got all of a sudden a whole lot of motivation to get his shit together. Otherwise, there's a whole nother life he's responsible for that might not get the best quality out there. So in order for me to make sure my daughter gets the best quality out there, I need to work. Right? I have to work. No more sitting here, no more complaining. So he's absolutely right. It changes you. Okay. It wasn't money. It wasn't the pursuit of fame. It was the fact that I was taking responsibility of a child I helped create. That's what motivated me. You see, when these guys come out here and say, oh, you got to go get money and this and this and that, they're completely wrong. There are different motivators for different types of people out there. Unlike some people in the real world, these shallow fucks are only motivated by wealth and material goods.
To, even to delay that for men to get experience or whatever, maybe because I think what ends up happening is the sex, just because we're men, we're carnal, the sex becomes the purpose over what the purpose should actually be, which should be to start building your life. Part of that's dating, but to say that this is the way it has to be and is always going to be, I think it's just too pessimistic for me. I don't think that has to be.
I'll go back to where I was at when I said society breaks down, because nothing ever ends there. There's always what comes next.
Yeah, you better specify, because I have to light your ass up on that one.
And thinking about, as you describe it, if we come to a point where there are too many purposeless, listless men, and they've become sexually frustrated, they've become professionally frustrated, it's hard for them to find work. Not only are they competing with higher value men for the sexual marketplace, it's also the physical, actual professional marketplace, and now they're competing with women for jobs too.
Mm-hmm.
If this does lead to some kind of social order breakdown, after the dust settles and the revolution, Soviet Union lasted 60.
See, this is what I don't like about Tim. He's always speaking about some kind of revolution. Oh, no, yeah, there's going to be a revolution. The right's going to take up arms and, and they're going to go against the left, and there's massive civil war that's happening. Shut the fuck up, dog. Like, get in reality. That's not happening. All right? Most men are too weak for that. Listen, revolutions don't happen unless somebody with power and a serious cash makes it happen, okay? And those guys are usually tied in with people who are like them on the top, okay? You don't understand the games, so stop pretending you know the rules. Like these guys, you sit there talking about, yeah, that's society. No, what they're gonna do is they're just gonna, whatever war that's pressing, they're gonna push for that. And then they're gonna get all you young men, and then get you guys to enlist, and then send you all overseas. No more problems. You can let the police force deal with whatever's going on here at home. There's the collapse on a social order where people are going to be revolting against the system. Those days are gone. Okay, listen, we've sold too much of our freedoms to even have that kind of conversation no more. If you got so much as a cell phone and you take it into a building where you're supposed to have a private meeting, you're compromised. Congratulations. You played yourself. There's no fucking revolution. Tim Clue. I was going to say, Tim Pool, get a fucking clue. CD Shotzi for the $10 super chat. Notice the empathy is there now with purposeless men or men without opportunity, but couldn't that be the same rationale? Couldn't that same rationale be used to explain the so-called black on black crime? That's facts. You're absolutely right. I don't know why I just spazzed out there, bro. See, I'm telling you, again, when you got problems, okay, I got dyslexia, so I got problems with reading. But hey, that stopped me from going through school and getting a good job. So I don't complain about it. But these guys, they want to complain about everything. But still, you're absolutely right. These guys are the same ones that want to sit there and deny black and black violence and deny all these other systemic injustices that go on. But then when it comes to men, right, and a lot of times you got to talk about what type of men these guys cater to. And a lot of times it's, the white males. That's just what it is. Listen, some people might say, oh, Duke, you're being a race baiter now. That's not really the case, okay? I squarely believe that the red pill is a white male response to feminism, which was a white women response to the patriarchy. That's my analysis of it, because you can't say black folks came in, we came in chains on a boat tied with our women on a boat. All right, we already came to this country. We weren't advantaged. We didn't have nothing. We didn't have rights. We weren't even considered human beings. We were slaves. That means we were less than human. So how is it that us starting in a new world from ground zero, all right, how is it that we're the ones who are having problems with the women? Nah, it was just the ideology that eventually, as society got comfortable, people started adopting it because that's how it goes. But realistically, think about it. Look at the red pill. Look at the people who are overwhelmingly pissed off. Look at the people who will go around being incel shooters and shit like that, right? I'm not saying you're not gonna find some I'm gonna say immigrants, what do you call it? Some black folks or Latinos or stuff like that who are among that mix. But very well speaking, a lot of the red pill talking points, they speak towards those old patriarchal values that white men used to have. That's why when they speak about this, they're talking about it in a way that they about getting back a power they lost, right? I'm sorry, black folks, we never had power. Okay, we just are now getting to the point where we're getting power and we got to earn it, right? And we got to earn it real bad, right? But at the end of the day, we didn't start off with power. So what power are we trying to get back? It was never for us. All right, so that's all I got to say. Shout out to you for super chat. John with the $2 super chat says they all scumbag, but Trump made life cheap. Yeah, he did. He did for a little bit, but I feel like we're gonna pay for it later. I mean, I think we did with the inflation of the next administration, right? Don, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. Says I meant the psychologist. Oh, okay, psychologist. Okay, shout out to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat, John. Not John. Don. John with the $5 says after Rompierre after Rompierre overthrew the French monarch, he was overthrown for being a dictator. Yeah, a lot of these dudes, when they are rebelling against something, usually at the end of the day, they end up becoming exactly what they rebelled against. You ever notice that? It's like almost the more people promise change never actually comes. You guys notice that? So beware of people coming to you and promising drastic change and making these overreaching promises about how drastic your life's going to change, because chances are it's probably going to stay exactly the same. You just got conned. That's just it. Shout out to you, Deb, with the $5 in the chat. It says, Tim is wrong. There's plenty of work and purpose. This guy's choose not to leave the house and grab these jobs. Being terminally online isn't a career. Facts. Listen, that was one thing I was going to bring up too, but Dev, shout out to you because you're absolutely right. These blue-collar jobs that a lot of these blue-collar people are complaining that men aren't filling up. Where are these men? I mean, these jobs openings are available, but the men don't have the skills. So it just goes to show you that it's not a feminism issue that is causing men to not be employed as much in the workforce. All right. It's a skill issue. We're dealing with a skill gap issue. A lot of men right now who are young are not joining these blue collar jobs in overwhelming numbers to really make an impact. Instead, they're online bragging about how much they don't have a job and how much Andrew Tate saved their lives. It's so sad at this point. It's not even funny. Casey with the $5 super chat says, first time catching it live. I'll keep it short and sweet. Shout out to you. I appreciate you being here. Welcome to the stream. Let's watch Tim.
Who's going to be in charge of what comes next? It's going to be guys like Jason who have secured and fortified their family and have prepared generationally. If you have kids, you raise your kids right. When everything breaks down, those kids are part of your network, your protection. They're part of what will keep your society going. But if you look at a place like, New York, maybe Miami, where people are not having kids and they're very promiscuous, when social order breaks down, those their lines break. I'll put it this way. You are more likely to survive a conflict with a family than without one. That's the easiest way to look at it. And then if you look at the math for that, I would just say the equation seems to predict if social order does break down because of what we're seeing, with dating apps, with social media. Give it 100 years and it's going to be people like Jason who are controlling it.
I think he just nailed it though. Like the vision I see for what you guys are saying is like turning the entire world into San Francisco. And I'm like, no, but I'm not into that.
No, but look, and I hear you. And then San Francisco collapses completely. And then it's ashes with people like
Tim. I feel like this guy is just literally sleeping and dreaming about how different ways that society is going to collapse. I think this guy has a hard on for some kind of rebellion breaking out sometime soon. He's always speaking in these terms. It's like, bro, what apocalypse are you waiting for, dog? It's not coming. I don't know what y'all conspiracy tards are doing over there on the right there, but like you sound mad crazy. Like, I don't know, social order. It's gonna break down soon. We gotta worry. It's like, yo, chill the fuck out, dog. We're gonna be all right. It's gonna get crazy, but we're gonna be all right. All right, Tim. All right, you can put the gun down now. You can put the gun down. We're all safe. This guy, bro.
You standing on top of it.
Correct.
Yeah, but the other thing, which I understand what you're saying, like, yeah, you're better off with a family. But what's worse is that you build a family with a woman that wasn't worthy in the first place
100%.
because you didn't have the knowledge to do so.
We
So
agree on that.
my thing is, I'm telling guys, yes, build families, have children. We are not against that at all. The nuclear family is absolutely the backbone of why the United States is the most powerful country in the world. However, what I'm saying is that most women are not worthy of building.
No, the nuclear family is not why the United States is the most powerful country in the world. It's the fact that we dropped 2 nuclear bombs on 2 cities, projecting for the first time in history that we can vaporize millions of people at once. Okay, that's what put us on top. Matter of fact, it was the fact that we imported Nazi engineers to help us build those bombs and weapons of mass destruction that really puts us on top. Okay. Now, listen, I'm not saying that, families and things like that doesn't help a society grow. It does. But every society does that. Okay. It's not the sole reason the United States was so prosperous and productive. No. It's because we had access to steal information from engineers to make weapons of mass destruction that puts us on top. That's why we're so powerful, okay? Other than that, we just had industrial power. And anybody can achieve that if they have enough family, like China. I mean, they had a huge population until they had to cut it down and it screwed them. But they're the industrial powerhouse of the planet right now. They're pretty much the world's factory, if you want to call it that, okay? Because they have so many people to do so many things. So stop it.
A nuclear family with. I want guys to go into the relationships or marriage or anything like that with their eyes wide open. A lot of these women are not worthy of it, and you need to pick the best one.
Okay, so would you tell them? Because like there are a lot of points of agreement here.
Yeah.
But would you tell them that when you choose to slide into a woman's DMs or whatever you do to pick up women,
yeah,
that your goal should still be whether it's your first one or your 50th one. The end goal should still be consider whether or not you want this woman to raise your kids.
Of course, but the thing is that our guys going to do that. A lot of guys are going to think with their dick, and they're going to want to go ahead and have sex with girls and hook up.
But what's the idea? What should they do? Is what I'm asking.
Here's the thing: identifying what you don't want is just as important as identifying what you do want. So maybe you might need to go through 1 or 2 IG thotties to figure out. Damn, I don't really want to be with these types of women. Get that out of your system. So my thing is, I want guys to be experienced so that they don't experience the wrong girl. Build a family with the wrong girl.
Really quick, because I have a friend. He actually is on Twitter. I think it's dang it, what was his name? Bowtied Broke is on Twitter. He was a 6'5" stud back in the day, kind of the epitome of everything we're talking about, getting all the girls. He had his pick of the women, and he took it. Later on, he did the same thing. He got it out of his system, and he got married. Infidelity was a mainstay in his marriage after he had children.
From his perspective, he was cheating on her.
Correct. And
see, we tell guys, you got to be honest about that.
I'll never forget what he said to me, though, because it reminded me of what you just said. He said, everybody told me at the time, go ahead and get it out of your system. And he said, what I found out was I didn't get it out of my system. I got it into my system.
It never went away.
And it never went away. And that's the brain chemistry thing that I'm talking about.
You see how Myron looked over to Fresh when he finished dude's sentence? Because dude is right. You trying to get it out of your system. You're just feeding your addictions, bro. That's like me saying, oh, I'm gonna stop smoking cigarettes, and then I just smoke cigarettes to stop smoking cigarettes. No, I'm just adding more nicotine to my system. If you really want to, maybe you got to go to patch, maybe smoke something else, or maybe don't smoke at all, because maybe the act of smoking is probably what causes the addictive behaviors. We don't know, right? Or it could be that in combination with the ingredients in itself. But still, all right, you don't want to invite all of that into your life. You want to stay away from those temptations as much as possible. So he's absolutely right, because people like this who preaches that, get it out of your system lifestyle, and you only live once type of bullshit, you end up being that person who cheats and makes a mistake. All right, that's just is what it is. And the way Fresh just finished that sentence, because he knew, all right, and Myron didn't like that. I'm gonna play that back so y'all can catch that, because that shit was hilarious.
Mainstay in his marriage after he had
children. From his perspective, he was cheating on her.
Correct. And
see, we tell guys, you got to be honest about that.
I'll never,
even if you're honest or not, it still doesn't make it right, though.
Never forget what he said to me, though, because it reminded me of what you just said. He said, everybody told me at the time, go ahead and get it out of your system. And he said, what I found out was I didn't get it out of my system. I got it into my system.
It never went away.
And it never went.
Hold on, Chad.
And he said, what I found out was I didn't get it out of my system. I got it into my system.
It never went away.
And
he's like, hey, nigga, whose side are you on? Huh? Whose side are you on, Fresh? Shut up. Shut your damn mouth. He didn't ask you, and it went away. Whose side are you on, boy? Oh my God, bro. It's like these two are out of sync when they go outside. That's just what it is. Oh my God.
Because it reminded me what you just said. He said, everybody told me at the time, go ahead and get it out of your system. And he said, what I found out was I didn't get it out of my system. I got it into my system.
It never went away.
And it never went away. And that's the brain chemistry thing that I'm talking about. So for the big disagreement that I keep pushing back on is all of the things you're saying are true, except for always have the intention of purpose behind your drive to find the right woman, know what you want, know what you don't want, filter as many as you need to find that person, but don't go into it like I'm going to bang 10 women because I can and I'm high value or whatever, because that's not getting it out of your system. It's getting it into your system.
No, that's absolutely facts. Guys, you need to know what you want before you go chasing these women. Know what you want. Otherwise, that's how you get bamboozled. Carlo Rose, shout out to you for the $10 super chat. Says, yo, Duke, wanted to show some love. Your lives help with WFA. Shout out to you. Says, the women are more agreeable. Comes from the Big 5 personality test. Is that the Myers-Briggs? That's the Myers. Wait, is the somebody help me out? Carlo, is the Myers-Briggs part of that Big 5 personality test? Because that's the main one I've heard. That's the one where it talks about what style of person you are and things like that, which to me, I don't really listen to those because they're just so vague. It's like a fortune teller, right? You break open a fortune cookie, talks about, hey, your day's going to be good today. All right. And what the fuck does that mean? Like, it's so vague. That's the same thing with a lot of these personality tests. Like, hey, you're going to experience great things. You're a great motivator. Oh, you have a tendency to be shy around people. It's like, I think that applies to a lot of people. I think there's a huge brush of people you can paint with that one. I'm just saying. But yeah, let me know if the Myers-Briggs is one of them, because I have a feeling that shit's kind of like a scam. Maybe I'm wrong, but let me know. He says, no peer-reviewed as far as I know. Love from Australia, bro. Shout out to you from the land down under. I appreciate it. But yeah, a lot of the stuff is not peer-reviewed. It's all bro science. Even the stats about dating and the whole dating curve where men who like younger women, which to a certain extent, you could probably find arguments in the real world for that. But the fact that they talk about how women always chase the high value guy or the guys with the nice photos or the top 10 or 8% of men, that's all OkCupid. OkCupid, that's not a peer-reviewed data. That's a dating app that wants to have research done so they can figure out how to market it better. That's it. That's all it is. It hasn't been peer reviewed. It hasn't been backed up by any reputable scientists. It's just bro science that these red pillars are hanging on to, and every word of it to try to shame other women and try to beat other men over the head to join their little cult. And it's just weird.
Let's shift a little bit and talk.
You guys are always going to want to have sex with women, though.
Sure,
that's just being keeping it real.
Even married
I didn't say,
men
I didn't say you can't have sex. Have sex.
Yeah, but bro, like drugs feel good too, right?
Exactly.
You got to have willpower and control,
discipline.
Like you got to teach guys to be able to punch through a brick wall, and that takes time, energy, discipline, and focus. Not to go, watch porn. And I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying like you have to tell them to do the hard thing. But I want to shift.
No, they can't do that, because telling the men to do the hard thing means less viewership. Because think about it, if more men was working on themselves, that's less men watching their bullshit show with these OnlyFans women on top of it. So they absolutely need these men to have absolutely nothing going on in their lives for them to get rich. That's just it. So what you're saying, it goes against Myron's economical values.
Okay, that's
now one more point. No, I don't want to cut you off.
No. All I was going to say was, like, I get it that you're saying, because men. Here's the thing: I talk about men and women, and people tend to forget that I criticize men as well. Men are only going to be as faithful as their options typically. That's just how it is. So, are a lot of guys going to sit there and exercise, D-discipline, as you guys are saying? The majority, no, because once guys get to
that's bullshit, dude. That's fucking bullshit. I know guys, including myself, who we know we have options, all right, but when we get in relationships, we're loyal. That's just what it is. I would like, not all guys are these horn dogs that are just trying to sleep with everything they want. Like, no, if we make a choice, we stick with it. That's why it takes a while for guys who hang around me and even me to make a choice when it comes to choosing someone, because it's someone that I know for a fact. If I make the decision that you're the one I'm going to stick with, I'm committed. I have no issues with commitment whatsoever. People I hang out with, they have no issues with commitment. That's why they're married, and that's why I've been married, right? Unlike a lot of these guys who are preaching relationships, they have no experience with being married. I was a young guy who put a ring on a finger right then and there the moment The moment I realized I was going to be a father, oh yeah, I'm committed. We're doing this 100%. And I changed my life 100%. There are guys who are just like that have the exact same mentality like me. I'm not the only one. And I surround myself with guys who share similar values to me, right? Guys who like to take responsibility and accountability in their lives. So that means that we keep ourselves safe from dealing with all kinds of women willy-nilly because we are highly selective, because we know any random woman, if we took your advice and just go get it out of our system, that's literally a recipe for disaster. That's a setup to get in trouble. That's essentially what it is. You're teaching setups where real men are trying to teach discipline. These guys don't get it, bro.
To a certain point, they make a certain amount of money, they become successful, etc. They're going to want to have women. That's why a lot of these guys, they have mistresses, they have sugar babies, they have women on the side, they deal with escorts, whatever. So since guys are going to do this anyway, most of the time when they have the resources to do so, I say just be honest with your partner. Look, I'm going to have multiple women.
Let's shift a little bit into the more political space, because you mentioned feminism.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to talk about
Let's go
that in the bigger picture, where we're at with that. But I want to start with this tweet from Pearl Davis.
Oh, hell.
It's got 12.1 million views.
God damn it.
1,734 reposts, 34,000 likes, has been quoted 3,638 times. And it is a picture of her wearing a shirt saying women shouldn't vote. Should women vote?
I think their vote should carry half as much weight as men's.
So you're in the middle.
I'm in the middle. I think women should have the ability to vote, and depending on what position they hold, if they're in the military and they're some type of government service, then I think absolutely their vote should count all the way. But if it's just
look at this retard. So why? Okay, what about men who aren't in the military or who don't have government service? Should they be lumped in with the women, or is it just a completely anti-woman agenda? So it doesn't matter if the men aren't even in these same professions that you're saying are qualifying. If the women are in these, or if their women are even in these qualifying positions, listen, yeah, we can make an exception for them, all right? But what about the men? No, they're all right. This is a purely female hatred type of move right here. These guys don't like women.
A female and she doesn't have any type of civil service or anything else like that, then I think it should be, and this goes for the men too, right? Guys, certain guys shouldn't vote either. If you're working at McDonald's, etc., should your vote count all the way? No.
You dumb fuck, bro. Hey, there are guys that I've met at McDonald's who are working there, and they're veterans. So that just goes against the last thing you said about females in the positions they hold, because so a woman can be a veteran overseas, come home, and then get a job at McDonald's. So because she gets a job at McDonald's, she shouldn't vote. Okay, what if it was a guy? Let's say he's a veteran, comes back home, and has to work at McDonald's. So he loses the right to vote? Like, where do you draw the line with these stupid ideas? That is so dumb. How about we just keep it where it is? If you're born in the country, all right, or you're a naturalized citizen, you get the right to vote. How about that? Because now you have to participate by doing your civic duty. Not because of what status you hold. The world will be very, very fucked up and dystopian if we went with Myron's idea. What a dumbass. Man, yeah, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. It says, the Red Pill Bros, we want to watch only women fans. Also, Red Pill Bros, how dare women do OnlyFans? There's no product without a demand. Facts. These guys don't realize, whoa, what is up with Myron's hair? I just noticed that, chat. This shit does not look right to this nigga's hair. Bro, I feel like he's wearing a toupee. Is this me, or is this don't look natural, chat? Maybe I am tripping. Maybe, hey, listen, if, bro, this don't look right. I feel like like, what's this up here? Why is this patch over here different? Like, you got a flock of hair just growing over here and over here, but not here. Like, what's happening? Bro, something's wrong. Why am I just noticing this? What's happening here, chat? I gotta see if people are talking about this. What is this? Hold up. What is this? Let me get to what is this in the chat, because I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm looking at.
So then it's not a question of, in your mind, women. It's a question of, should people not engaged in civic duty vote?
Yes, but to be honest with it, let's keep it 1,000. That's going to immediately put a majority of women as only half voters,
right?
Because that's the career fields and life decisions that women make in general.
Well, so yeah, do you want to respond to
that? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here, but I think part of the problem is that the view, I guess our views of women are so much different, because when I think of a woman who runs a household and raises children and does the most beautiful thing that you can possibly do. So I see so much inherent value in, I think,
which we agree is important.
Okay, but I kind of feel like what we're doing here is we've trained as men, women, we've incentivized certain behavior, and now we want to discount them because they're giving the men what they're asking for.
Somebody gets it.
Fans,
you tell
Instagram,
them.
ass shots, and then we're saying now suddenly that they're somehow less valuable.
Takes two to tango.
Well,
Right. A lot of the stuff that we're seeing women do, it's like men
They're
are
filling demand is all they're doing.
well,
That's all
we
they're
allowed them to
doing,
do this, so
people.
you are correct in that sense. Because
Because Fresh got to get his little 2 cents in. It's like, it's not like his 2 cents are just too cheap to be part of this conversation. No, he's gonna toss it in there anyways. This dumb fuck. I'm down with the $5 super chat. Shout out to you. He says, how can you be a high value or aspire to be high value if you don't have discipline in all areas? Exactly. These guys are saying, no, just ignore women, focus on getting money, focus on getting fame and wealth and whatever the fuck it is, and you'll have it. But if you're focused on all these things, you're also not being disciplined in the areas of women, because you're the type of guy that will be easy to get just taken advantage of because you almost have zero experience with women, but that's all you crave. So it's like these guys, they're talking about discipline in areas where they feel as though that matters, but not in the area that they care about, which is the female department, right? Listen, it matters to have money. It matters to have certain statuses. It's to a certain extent. It's not the end all be all, but it does matter, right? You want to be able to be a guy who, if you're a man, that you got if you're a standout in your community, people respect you and things like that. It definitely goes a long way, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is these guys, they want these things without having actually be disciplined when it comes to dealing with women, right? The other half of the population, they don't want to build discipline in that department. No. They just want free access, and they want to be able to deal with as many women as they want. That's the whole reason they want to be high value to begin with. So again, when I think about the super chat, right? Think about the analogy Myron loves to give all the time. The kid in the candy store, right? If you're a kid in the candy store who's been sitting here watching all these girls go in and pick whatever flavored candy they want, all right, and then the moment you finally get in there, you're running around like an uncontrolled man, and you're taking and eating all the candy and whatnot. Yeah, essentially, while you were standing outside watching, you were not building the discipline that matters. And then you expose yourself the minute the candy store got open to you. So even in Myron's analogy with the candy store, it doesn't make any fucking sense, because it just means that those guys who are waiting outside didn't do anything but stand there and watch, just like they're watching you bozos online on the internet, building zero discipline whatsoever. So, I mean, why are we surprised? I mean, are we honestly surprised about this at this point? I'm not. Let's
men were
continue.
leaders. But I will say this: if we're talking about votes here, women are more easily swayed to one direction or another, because once again, they follow leadership to depending on who they see as important. So ultimately speaking, if I'm going to go for votes, I sway the women, I'm going to win.
So you're saying, but what you're saying is that we as men are ineffective leaders, and therefore, because we cannot lead properly, that now the women should have a half a vote or no vote or what? Like, to me, I'm always like looking first internally. What did I do? How did I fail here? What was the point of failure that happened here in leadership? And everything I'm hearing is like men have failed in many.
Well, yeah, by letting women vote. So that's how they failed. I mean,
so first I'll address what you said. I believe.
So they still failed, but that's not the reason why. Like, letting women vote is not a failure, bro. That's not even. Matter of fact, the whole purpose of, man, y'all need to look at some history, because you look at the history behind why people were pushing for that. It's because they wanted more support in government, right? In certain areas of politics, right? So that's just what it is. So I like to even just say that it's a failure of man. It's not even. It's like, where are you even getting that on? These guys, bro, I don't get it. Mummies are dangerous. Shout out to you for $5 super chat. Says, white men vote more than any other men. If women can't vote, they will keep the white rule. Facts. That's why a lot of these guys, they don't understand. These guys who are voting for patriarchy and all this nonsense, especially if you're black or you're Latino or you're a person of color, right? You don't want to. Eventually, they're gonna turn on you. You're not safe. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Menya with another $10 super chat. Let's get the W in the chat for Menya right now. Shout out to you. She says, that's an outdated concept. Today it's clear, if the government will affect your life, you should have a say who's gonna be there. Facts. And right now, government affects every aspect of our lives. So much so that even the bozos who are advocating to take away women's rights are also simultaneously voting for government to be involved in other people's life. So it's like, if you have governments who are getting ready to take away a woman's right to abortion or something like that, right? So we have governments who are doing that. why shouldn't women have the right to vote? Because this is something that applies to them specifically, right? So when we're talking about that, yeah, they should get the right to vote. That's that directly affects them and whatever happens to them in the future. So you just saying, hey, we're not only going to use the government, all right, to limit your rights, okay, but we also want the government to eventually take them away. They're dumb. They're so freaking dumb. John, shout out to you for the $10 super chat. Don says McDonald's provides me more of a social safe society, provides more for society than a YouTuber. Myron should have no right to vote. And Duke, we've been clowning Myron's hair all stream. Catch up, Goofy. I didn't know. Listen, y'all know when I get into these streams, I just go for it because I'm like, all right, we got a set time. Because listen, if we don't, I will go off tangent like I'm doing right now, right? If we don't. So that's the thing, because I love to do that. But like, yeah, I didn't know y'all was clowning him. I had to look closer because I'm like, yo, because listen, I got like 3 or 4 different monitors right up here. So the one I'm looking at right now has StreamYard, all the chats and stuff in it. So I mainly pay attention to this one. But the main one over here is the one that plays the video. With this one, I can see it full screen and I can see like everything. I can see details. So I was looking over here, but when I looked over here, I'm like, wait, something wrong. There's a little bit of extra details, especially like right up here, right? Right up here. I don't know if you guys can
I
see
believe
it.
the science
Like,
is clear.
if y'all see it right here, hold up. Y'all see it right here. Like there's a part right here where Myron had it.
And everything.
I mean, let's give it
So first, I'll address what you said.
Like if you look, hold up.
by letting women vote. So
right here, like just at the top of that right there. If you look at the top of it, it just doesn't look right. It looks different up here. But shout out to you. Listen, I would say Walmart provides more for society too. Right, a lot of these guys, Walmart, they clown Walmart, but Walmart does more for society than Fresh and Fit and Rolo can do in their lifetimes combined. So I just find it weird that they're shaming all these jobs, but they're literally the backbones of societies right now. If you know that you can't make it in the real world because these guys told you not to get a college degree, at least you have Walmart and McDonald's. But hey, automation is catching up, and pretty soon you might not even get the luxury of a Walmart or McDonald's anymore. So if I were you, I'd stop wasting my time listening to these bozos because they already made it thanks to you, but you haven't yet. So worry about yourself. Stop worrying about clowning other people who are trying to make a living at Walmart, okay? Because at least they're working. The fuck you doing? Right? That's what I wish you could just tell a lot of these you can tell a lot of these red pillars who sit there and just do this crap, right? It's like, yo, what about what's going on in your life, dog? Like, chill with that bullshit.
that's how they fail. I mean,
So first, I'll address what you said. I believe the science is clear that women are more agreeable, men are more disagreeable.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's harder to convince a guy. He'll challenge you. He'll headbutt you. A woman is going to try and make things smooth over. There's a lot of positives to being agreeable and a lot of negatives to being disagreeable, and vice versa. It's pros and cons. Men and women are different and complementary.
Now, there's an agenda, though. Of course, we can go deeper here, get more serious. But real here, men who are at the helm of this because once again, we put certain policies in place, we allow things to happen, and as a result, the family's destroyed. Now, when it comes to women, obviously they're human beings as well. Equally, we're all human beings. But to be fair, when it comes to voting and political views, they can be swayed in any direction, which means by default they should vote.
But so
look, man, let's keep it in mind. Women are communitarian in general. They tend to vote Democrat. They tend to vote for, hey, let's give everybody $1 versus giving the best person $1. They don't base their values a lot of times are not aligned with meritocracy. They want everyone to benefit, which is cool.
That's not fucking true, bro, because then you wouldn't have women who were conservative and voting overwhelmingly for Trump. There are women who, listen, if it wasn't for women, Trump wouldn't have made it in office. Guaranteed. It wasn't listen, as much as the Trump propaganda wants to go around and say, hey, you know, I beat them in a landslide. It wasn't a landslide victory. Okay. It wasn't a landslide victory for Trump, especially when he went up against Hillary Clinton. It was pretty freaking close. Okay. And I think the deciding factor was women. So you sitting here talking about, women, the reason why they shouldn't vote, they overwhelmingly vote Democratic. Yo, you're dumb. I would say this. If you take away the rights for women to vote, consider you guys never winning a political party, or not party, a political we call election again. That's done. Women make that shit go. Whether they're on the right or they're on the left, they're very, very important. It's not, they don't overwhelmingly just go for the left. That's crazy, bro. I'm gonna tell you this, and just being honest with y'all conservatives, because y'all don't get it. If you took away their right to vote, you think conservatives are gonna win? You're wrong. The conservatives are not going to win. It's just not. That's not how the scenario is going to play out. If women lose the right to vote, overwhelmingly, you guys are not going to hold political office. It's going to be the same shit like Bush, right? You're not going to win. You're not going to win political office like again. Right? What is it? Is it Jeb Bush? Jeb Bush after what do you call George Bush did? All right, you think Jeb Bush is gonna get anywhere? No, he's gonna be a laughing stock. All right, look at this guy. After your brother got us into 2 different wars, or screwed up our economy, you want to be president too? Fuck you. But that's just gonna happen. Okay, I'm gonna just say it right now. You need women. Even though they vote conservative, you need women. I mean, these guys.
But if you're a capitalistic guy, you want the best to succeed. And unfortunately, a lot of the times, women don't believe in meritocracy. They believe in communitarianism. In general, not all, but most.
We'll go back to some of the common points brought up from suffrage.
Yeah.
So this is typically, I feel like it's typically not talked about that there were a lot of women who opposed women's suffrage because initially it was tied to civic duty.
Yes.
Men who were voting had to be on the fire brigade. You had to, you could be drafted. You could go and die. And so with that, the idea is like, if we can force you to go fight and die, you get a say in a vote as to who decides.
Absolutely.
Women can't be forced to go off and fight and die, so they should not have a say in these matters.
That's a big part of the reason why I say they should get 50% is because women don't have to join the selective service. I can't tell you how many times we've done the podcast.
That's an argument for not voting at all.
Yeah. Do you even know? That's what I'm saying. That's why a lot of them should be limited. I ask women all the time, do you even know what the selective service is? Most of them don't even know it. Bro,
there hasn't been a draft since Vietnam, dog. Or like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, there isn't going to magically be one now. I'm going to tell you that right now. Our military has gotten too damn sophisticated to want to do a massive draft unless there's like a full-on world war. We got to pull out all the stops, but even then it's going to be a little crazy. And guess what? Even if we try to institute a draft, majority of men today won't even qualify because they're not qualified now in most military branches. I mean, maybe at best the Navy or the Air Force, because Air Force. But still, I'm not shaming a lot of Air Force members. My dad was in the Air Force too, so I get it. Okay, but come on, let's most people in the other branches, they don't sleep in bunks. Okay, they sleep in barracks and freaking what do you call it? We call it on the floor or some shit, bro. These, especially the Marine Corps, this is not a joke compared to the Air Force, bro. If you want a good time in boot camp, choose the Air Force, the Navy. All right. So listen, these guys, bro, I swear to you, they don't know what they're talking about. We haven't had a draft since then. We're not going back to that time. Our military is too damn sophisticated. We can kill people from satellites, bro. Okay. We don't need massive troops moving around anymore. Okay, maybe like little pockets here and there, but that's it. Like, we don't need a massive mobilization. That's not happening. We're not ever getting to that point. And I may be wrong in the future, but from where I see the way warfare is being waged right now, we're not getting to that point anymore. Everything's too specialized now.
So what ends up happening is, and I have only a cursory knowledge of this, correct me if I'm wrong for those that are listening, feel free. I don't think I'm completely right on this. What I read was that a compromise was made. Women were not going to get suffrage because they were like, we don't want to go to war and we don't want a fire brigade. We want the men to do those things. Please leave us alone.
Yep.
And so that caused a point of contention where it wasn't going to move forward until finally the men who were running the show in Congress and stuff and relented and said, okay, women can vote and no civic duty. And everyone said, okay, we agree to that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me. So where we're at now is we're in a completely different world. I do think women should be allowed to vote. However, I don't think anyone should be allowed to vote without civic duty. It makes no sense to me that someone can move into New York City without having any ties to the community, vote to destroy the place, and then leave. That's a problem.
But it depends on what you call civic duty, right? Do you want to institute some kind of like massive civic program where like a what do you call it? Is it a AmeriCorps? I mean, that already exists. Okay, it's not mandatory, but they have like little job corps out there that young guys can join or young girls can join and better themselves, right? You can consider that civic duty. Matter of fact, there is a civic duty a lot of Americans are obliged to participate in, which is jury duty. I mean, now it's a randomly selected situation, but once you're selected, you gotta perform your civic duty. So he's sitting here saying that with Tim Pool, he's completely wrong. Yeah, you gotta do some kind of civic duty. Yeah, women get selected to be part of the jury, and that's a civic duty. Hey, voting is a civic duty. What are you talking about? Dev, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. Dev says, Myron got that cheer pet hair growth fast. It's not natural. There's something unnatural about his hair growth, dog, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of it.
People typically Democrats talk about how evil it was that only landowners were allowed to vote back then, but they're ignoring the context of history in that there were no ID cards. Voting was, do you live here or no? You don't live here? Okay, well, dude, you're not voting on how we're going to defend, facilitate, expand. That actually makes a ton of sense.
It does.
If you don't live in my house, you can't vote on whether or not we're going to install a hot tub or, a cold plunge. If we're roommates, we get to vote on what's for dinner. If you're my neighbor, why are you voting? Like, why did you invite your friend over to vote on what I get to have for dinner? And now he's leaving tomorrow and you're making me eat garbage food.
Well, this is why it's so important to have authority tied with responsibility. The problem is that we're giving people authority with zero responsibility.
Tim Pool, you're a fucking moron, okay? If we're using the country analogy and we're doing it in reference to your house, okay? If someone gets invited to your house, since they don't own the house, they'd be equivalent to an immigrant, okay? So I'm gonna tell you this right now: in the United States, immigrants don't vote. They don't have the right to vote. Matter of fact, some of them don't have the same rights as naturalized or born citizens of the country. So even in your analogy, the guest, they wouldn't be voting anyways, because in your example, they will be considered immigrants. Okay, all right. They're not staying in your house. They didn't sign a lease. All right, to become a naturalized member of your leasing program. No, they just are visiting. Okay, they're immigrants to your house. So you're not gonna let an immigrant vote. So most countries don't. We all getting these conspiracies that immigrants out here just turning the tides of voters out there. They can't vote. Like, God damn. It's like they don't even listen to what they're saying. Their own examples turn to get them. They don't care.
Which goes back to the female voting situation, right? A lot of these women that vote, a lot of times they don't necessarily know how the government works, how the economy works, etc. And they're over here making very serious decisions and putting people like Sleepy Joe in office who don't necessarily deserve to be there.
And when you look at the maps, the voting maps, it's a fact. Women, if they do the map, if only women voted, whole country except for like one state is blue. If only men voted, whole country is red except for like one state. I am not saying that means women should not have their vote. I'm saying nobody should just be granted the right to vote.
Hey, Tim, how does that account for age? How does that account for the accessibility of voting? All right. How does your example account for all the different nuances that can feed into the factor of if majority women vote, it's going to turn blue? Because I reject that premise. I don't even believe that there's a stat out there that proves that. I want to see if there is, and Tim is quoting that. I want to see how that breaks down, because I think he's leaving some things out. I just get the hunch Tim Pool is leaving some data out that could be crucial to really give you guys the full picture here. So just keep that in mind. Sabina Bun, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Says Tony G said Fresh looks like a Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Yo, I can't unsee it now. Oh my God, bro. Fresh, because freaking Fresh, bro. Put some freaking Stitch ear on him, dude. That's what you look like, bro. That dude is he's just an odd looking guy. Listen, it's not even just about his looks. It's the fact that listen, I know a bunch of dudes that look just like Fresh. All right, so Fresh's look is not a new thing. Okay, it's not new. It's the fact that someone that looks like that has an ego to believe that he slept with over 1,000 women. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all, dog. It's not true. If it's true, that means you were simping with their money this entire time, because ain't no way these girls are loving you because you stole their souls. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. I don't believe Fresh has the ability to steal a goddamn soul, dog. He doesn't have the ability for any of that. He can't even steal a conversation, bro. He's not ready for that
capacity without some responsibility.
There's got to be checks and balances.
That's really
you got to have some responsibility.
IQ test. You pass it, you can vote.
Well, because that's subjective. You're asking someone else. Like the problem, but people have talked about things like this. Tests of merit. Vivek Ramaswamy has said a constitution or civics test. If you're under the age of 25 and you want to vote, you got to pass test. I'm like, that's nonsense, because there's 26-year-olds who are dumb as a box of rocks. Yeah. There's 50-year-olds. There's men who are voting. Look, there are a large portion of conservative Republican-leaning women removing their vote. Why? They're 50-50 men. Men are voting Democrat too. I don't see a political argument for or against voting. I see a civic argument, genderless, right? I talked to Vivek Ramaswamy about this, and I thought one of a really good, simple idea that we brushed upon was the moment you sign up for the selective service, you're also granted a voter registration ID card. Registering to vote is a selective service. Here's what happens. This solves the problem for everybody. You don't have to go to war. You're not being drafted. The likelihood of that is extremely low. You're simply saying, I am willing to be, in the event anything does happen. I know there are problems with that, because I think the draft is really, really bad, because you look at how the United States government has changed. It's one thing to say, hey, we're being invaded to arms men. It's another thing to be like, we're sending you to Vietnam, in the Gulf of Tonkin incident, all that I'll avoid. But, nonsense, false flags, fake reasons for getting into war. But think about what happens. If you say, everyone's allowed to vote, but you got to sign up for the selective service, men and women both, you are going to have 95% of low value individuals, men and women, being like, nah, I'm cool. I don't want to be involved in that at all.
That's a good way to.
That's so dumb. That's so fucking dumb. Listen, when the rich wage war, is the poor who die. All right, the poor, the uneducated, the people who don't go to school, right? Those are the ones who end up dying in those wars. So in his example, those same people who are actually part of the selective service right now, them people would not qualify to vote. These guys, bro, it's like they don't know what they're talking about. This is just more exclusive bullshit that tries to separate classes. If the world went according to their plans, it'll be a very different and toxic world that you yourself wouldn't want to be in. These guys would be sick of it immediately. Myron can go to Sudan right now. Sudan, a lot of people, their right to vote is being limited. Why is he in America? Ask him that. French. Hey, I almost called him French. Fresh. You from Barbados, my man, huh? What you doing here? It's just so crazy, bro. Like they want to come in here and just with the best country they know so far, all right, and they just want to sit there and just trash it, right? Just sit there and just ridicule and lambast. But these are the same people that want to sit there and say, "I love the country. Yeah, I love it." Yeah, no, you don't get it, Duke. It's because I love my country that I believe that women shouldn't have the right to vote. Yeah, you're a fucking moron, dog.
To go about it. I mean, yeah, I think
It's
that's
not perfect. I'm just saying it was an idea we brushed off.
No, that's a good solution. I mean, because my thing is, if you're going to have authority, you need to have responsibility too. And we've done a fantastic job in the modern day age of giving women a bunch of authority without necessarily giving them responsibility, and that's my issue.
Well, no, I think your issue is you've built a platform that does the opposite now. Congratulations. A lot of men, they don't like the responsibility, so you remove the responsibility and accountability for them. So I think if your idea would have come to pass, I'd like to add a caveat. Anybody who's a Fresh and Fit fan, Andrew Tate fan, or a fan of any of these red pillars that bring no value to the world, I don't think you guys should vote. How about that? If women lose the right to vote, you guys don't get the vote. Then we just leave to the reasonable men, whoever is out there, which even I don't believe there are people who are as reasonable out there. But still, right? Again, these it just goes to show you how ridiculous a lot of their ideas are. It just doesn't make any sense. It's more these bro science pipe dream to galvanize a bunch of incels. That's it.
You haven't chimed in so far.
Well, I'm trying to wrap my head around the idea of what it would look like.
Keep trying. It's not going to happen.
Obviously, I think women should be able to vote, but
I'm not arguing that either.
I know. I just don't. It's a hard, because like there is some merit to some of the things that are being said, but like I don't think there is a solution. I mean, I would consider myself more high value, and I personally would not want to sign up for this current government to then draft me.
You already signed up for selective service.
Just as being a man,
18 years old, you have to.
Yeah.
So it would just be adding women then.
So it's not even about women. It's about the moment you sign up for selective service, you are registering to vote and receiving a voter ID card. That's it. Man or woman, doesn't matter. If you're a dude and you say, I'm not signing up for that, well, then you can't vote.
What about immigrants?
If you're a citizen.
Okay.
What about immigrants? You dumb fuck. Immigrants never had the rights to vote. Every time he opens his mouth, he just, oh my God, shut up.
My view for immigrants is if you sign up for U.S. service, you should be given expedited access to becoming a citizen.
Agreed.
Like you're willing to fight for us.
Agreed.
Follow our rules. You have someone in command telling you what to do. And so a lot of people say like, I don't want to get drafted. I signed up for that. Listen, the only people voting are going to be the people who could be drafted. Right now, you've got people who can't be drafted voting on behalf of us who can.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
I agree.
Yeah,
and that's why.
So when I say that Tim Pool is simping for this bullshit, I'm not lying, dude. This guy is simping right now. What the fuck? Like, okay, what about the women who went to war, and they were back in the day during World War I, World War II, right? Even every war that we've had, before the modern era, if you guys want to call it, women has been involved in it. They've been involved in a support role, sitting there helping a lot of soldiers who are wounded. What about those women, huh? Like, you guys are just saying these things, but I don't think you really understand the true consequences of what you're saying. And you think Tim Pool would be smart enough to realize that, but no, he's not. He's not at all. He's sitting there just rolling with it. Yeah, no, civic duty. Yeah, that's what it. No, bro. How about we just leave it where it is? If you're a citizen, naturalized or born, you get that right. That's it. That's your right. No different than freedom of speech, because essentially what you're saying. To take away someone's right to vote, you're basically taking away their right to speak. I see that too as synonymous, bro, because voting is for you to have a voice in government, elective government, right? Hey, I have a voice that my vote counts. If these guys are saying, well, now there's certain restrictions to that freedom of speech, okay? Maybe you don't, even if you're born here, because you didn't do the selective service or whatever the fuck it is. There are conditions to your freedom. That's freaking weird, bro. That goes against everything this country was founded on. And if the founding fathers were alive, listen to you bozos talk about it, they'd slap y'all. Matter of fact, y'all will find yourself on the other end of a musket, guaranteed.
Why I said that is why in general I say the basis for which why a woman's vote should only be 50% is a big reason because of the selective service. But if they want to join in the selective service or they want to be involved in civic duty or they want to be involved in the military, police, etc., then I'm like, cool. Because a lot of people say, oh, well, women fought for the right to vote. A lot of people don't know what you said before. They don't want to deal with the responsibility that came alongside with it, with having to be volunteer.
But this is why it's not about whether women can vote or not. It's about whether anyone. Like if there's a dude who's like, I ain't gonna go fight for this country, it's like, well, then don't vote on our issues.
Yeah.
Don't vote.
George Bush got us into Iraq and Afghanistan. Has he taken accountability for it yet? I think there are a lot of people who are still waiting for George Bush to take accountability for the massive wars he started that bankrupt a lot of fucking people. Like, Jesus, what are we talking about here? I think if we'd find ourselves in a lot more wars right now if men were solely in charge of voting. Just being real, dog.
On how we spend tax money. Don't vote on how we defend our borders. Yeah. I really do feel it. First, I'll say
that's the solution.
Well, it's an idea we brushed on.
Yeah.
I don't know it's the perfect solution. I just know that you think about the outcome of that. There's no forced military service outside of a draft, which has not happened in 50 years. I don't see high risk, especially if the people who are not signed up, bro, if you don't sign up for it, you don't get drafted. If you are willing to be drafted, you sign up for it.
That does kind of filter out the cowards out of the.
Exactly. I don't want to send a guy who doesn't look. One of the problems of Vietnam, the stories we hear is when they drop these guys off on the first landing beach or whatever, and the Viet Cong are shooting at them, they aimed overhead because they were terrified and didn't want to shoot somebody. I want to know that.
Damn.
Well, first of all, we shouldn't have been in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Right. But take a scared young dude who doesn't want to fight and force him to fight. That's why we're like, we better get away from that.
Hey, wait. Wasn't Trump that scared young dude that didn't want to fight and then got a doctor to write a fake ass note to say he bummed his toe and then he didn't go to Vietnam? Wasn't that the guy you guys are worshiping now as some kind of symbol of masculinity? The guy who was a war dodger? I'm sorry. Isn't that, wait, Chad, am I wrong? Wasn't Trump a war dodger? Which, according to you masculine fucks, that's the worst crime you can commit as a man, right? Just dodge a draft. That's the most unaccountable thing a man can ever do. Yet he gets to be president. The biggest draft dodger in the world gets to be president with y'all approval, but a woman or another man. Oh my God, bro. It's like these guys, there's no context to what they're talking about. They're just saying
we're like wasting economic resources. If you think about it in the bigger picture, that young guy who was too scared to shoot at the enemy would be better off making widgets in a factory
or bullets
right, in a factory where he doesn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
So you say, hey, you're being drafted, but you clearly don't want to do this. So we're going to go have you just get a job. Or not even that. They're going to say the jobs that are available right now are typically in industry and manufacturing. I again, don't know that that's a perfect solution, but imagine you see all these videos of people go to Times Square and they ask questions like, I love this one. Name a country that starts with the letter U. It's the funniest question I've ever heard. And people are like, and then they're like, you can't think. I know you're like, what? And then the guy goes, United States of America. Like, dude, they don't know.
They're stupid. They're really stupid.
They're voting.
Yeah.
They're voting. And then they're voting on behalf of you, and you could be drafted. So I'm just like, if I have a civic responsibility, I don't know why these people who don't care, don't pay attention.
Well, I think that's a good way to get around it. I like your idea because the people that are voting actually have authority and responsibility. But I could already see the feminists protesting and saying this is sexist and misogynist, blah blah blah. Like this is just a way for us to not vote. But
taxes,
it's like no,
would taxes at least not be some responsibility though? I mean, like I hate taxes, but like, is that not a civic duty to pay taxes? Like, is that not enough of a buy-in?
I think that the current system.
I already said that. But apparently, you paying taxes, that's not civic duty enough. Jury duty, that's not civic duty enough. No. You got to go to war. You got to be ready to die. That's civic duty. Even though we haven't had a draft in over 50 years, I mean, but still, that's the base requirement these dumbasses are putting on themselves. I mean, again, when you really put it into perspective, these guys, their ideas, it's just weird.
We have regarding the selective service is unconstitutional. I don't know if the solution is just to say, okay, to make it equal, women can now be drafted too. I also don't think that taxation, there's already too many issues with modern monetary policy, modern monetary theory. Taxes don't actually pay for things. Yeah, taxes just pull money out of the market to control for inflation, and the government just prints and spends as they see fit.
Are you stupid? No, taxes absolutely play a factor, bro. Taxes are how a lot of schools get funded. Hey, dumbass, that's how that works. Taxes is how we pay the interest on the debt that we owe. Yeah, it's a very freaking important, dude. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, here's the taxes. What about inflation? That's a hidden tax right there. That's pretty important because without inflation, these governments won't be borrowing money they didn't have to spend it on things that we didn't need. Just saying. So I think taxes are pretty freaking important. I think that's a civic duty. I mean, in fact, the fact that I can work my hands to the core, all right, and all of a sudden have the government take a majority of my money, okay, that better means I get to have a right to vote for who gets to be in office next time because I'm working hard. Why do you get to take money out of my pocket? That makes no sense. But apparently, to these red pillars, you got to go to war. You got to get ready to die. That's the only way you can show your civic loyalty. What a dumbass.
The money supply is expanded upon the
creation
let me
get
this
super chat. CD says, maybe I'm missing something. How is this different from whiny victimhood they accuse the left of? Again, you're absolutely right. This is why listen, y'all would notice because you know what? Some of you guys who were watching, I did go through a transformation, right? Because when I started like this YouTube thing, I kind of was leaning a little bit Republican, right? Because I had these conservative views and whatnot. But as you start to really pay attention to what these guys say, you start to find the hypocrisy, right? You're like, wait, you're criticizing the left for this, but dude, you what are we doing over here? You're so goddamn guilty. And over time, you start to realize, yeah, bro, these guys are just the same side of the one coin. That's it. They're one coin, two different sides, but at the end of the day, they do the same thing. That's why, like, people who belong to parties, I look at them sus. I'm like, yeah, you probably don't think a whole lot because I get it. If you're part of a party for voting purposes, I get it. You got to do your civic duty. You know, these guys don't believe in that. I believe in doing a civic duty. So if you have the ability to vote, go vote. But still, it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, that these guys, they're playing for a sucker. I mean, this is what it is. If you're on the right or on the left, you're being screwed. That's just what it is. That's why when I started to see it, that's why I became more independent and I started to criticize both the right heavily, like, and the left, because a lot of they just do some hypocritical shit. And I'm not here for hypocrisy. I'm here to get shit done. If you're not here to get shit done, then you're a waste of fucking time. Get out of my face. And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're wasting their time with politics because it's not getting anything done. I hope that helps, but that's why I don't really pay attention to politics like that. John with the $20 super chat. Shout out to you for the $20 super chat. Just get the W in the chat for John and CD and Sabina Bun in the chat, bro. Like, y'all been doing some numbers today. Shout out to you. I appreciate it. John with the $20 super chat says, F the draft, just legal slavery by the rich. Muhammad Ali dodged too, and good for them. We shouldn't be forced to fight for the incompetencies and the political squabbles of rich white men who don't F with us. Facts. No, you're absolutely right on this, right? But the reason why I make those examples is just to point out the hypocrisy of these guys. But you're absolutely right. War sucks. No one wants to go to war. Look at what's going on in Ukraine right now. I'll tell you, right, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, a bunch of Ukrainians, if you would ask them, hey, you're going to be taking a rifle in the next 2 years, and you're going to point it at a bunch of Russian guys, teenagers, and you're going to be shooting at them, right? A Ukrainian kid would be like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. No, I'm not going to go to war with my Russian brother. We're practically brothers. But then fast forward, 2 years later, all of a sudden, these guys are in trenches killing each other. That's war. That's the realities of it. And it just sucks, right? Because these kids, if you take them out of that scenario, they wouldn't be at each other's throat like that. These kids will be going to universities. These kids will be listening to what's his name, Lil Uzi Vert, right, or some of these other things, enjoying some of the life and things out there that we get to enjoy. But instead, they're strapped helmets to them. They got sent rifles and then kicked off to a front line where they're most certainly gonna meet their end. It's just sad. Like, war isn't pretty. The fact that these guys are trying to make that a fucking requirement, it's like. Get the fuck out of here, man. Y'all are some weirdos for sure. Let's continue. But shout out to you for the chat.
Yeah, taxes aren't necessarily even paying for things. But I do agree in a very basic sense. You could argue we all pay taxes, therefore we all get a say. Okay, fair point. You can't tell me I have to go die for you. End of story.
Fair.
And we either abolish selective service and conscription outright, or I don't know that makes sense either. See, there's a bunch of problems with this. The draft as we know it in terms of Vietnam, we don't want that.
Yeah.
That's why everyone's against it. This, like, we're going to stop communism spreading in a different country. I don't care about Vietnam. I get it. Soviet Union was really bad. We don't want them to expand, but they collapsed in 69 years. However, if China lands a bunch of boats on the beaches of, I don't know, San Pedro or something.
Didn't we lose to Vietnam? Wasn't that a war that we don't want to talk about because we got our ass handed to us? I don't think we should be bragging about Vietnam, bro. It was not a good look for the United States.
major port.
Well, they're in Cuba right now.
Right, but it's not U.S. territory.
Yeah.
If they actually invade our territory, we're in the tri-state, West Virginia, Maryland, D.C. area. If a bunch of boats started crashing into D.C., I'd be like, tell me what I can do to help.
Yeah.
I'm not a fighter. I don't think it's effective to hand me a weapon. If they come invading my homeland, tell me who is running the defenses, and I will do what I can to help. Nope.
You got to give Tim Pool a heated beanie. That's all he needs. He's going to war. Matter of fact, all you got to do to get Tim Pool ready for war is this shit right here. You got to do your civic duty like this man is about to do right here, okay?
You know what fucking where they at? So these motherfuckers can't fucking recognize me when I'm on the street. You want to take a picture of me? So I'm using it on a fire?
Listen, although like I don't think there's anything wrong with Tim Pool being bald or anything like that. I mean, he looks fine. It's just, hey, bro, make sure. Hey, guys, be sure to do your civic duty when you're out there and you see Tim Pool, because remember that's his requirement for you to vote. Okay, so go out there and make sure you participate as being a good citizen, right? This guy, bro. Let's continue to see what more dumb takes Tim Pool has.
No question. That's what conscription was in the beginning.
Yeah.
You're a guy working on a farm. They run up to you and say, we're being raided and attacked. They throw you a musket and say, let's go.
Well, that's why the Second Amendment was a thing, to quickly arm a militia.
Right.
For that.
Nowadays, since the last draft, it was basically like, we're not going to tell you why. We false flagged our way to justify the war to trick the American people into thinking it's necessary. And now we're going to force you to go fight. That's BS.
Yeah.
Because of that, we have to have a system in which you can't vote someone to go do that.
I agree.
And you look at what's happening with Joe Biden, and this gets a little political. It is a fact that women overwhelmingly vote Democrat.
Yes.
They also can't be drafted. They voted for a political party that is supporting war in Europe, which could lead to World War III. Men did too, but women skew in that direction. And they're not responsible for the war.
Yeah.
So now we've got Joe Biden calling in the ready reserves and the select reserves. This is one of the this is nuts. They called in people who have completed their contracts in the army.
Mm-hmm.
These are for those that don't understand, and I'm not an expert on this. I know many of you may be veterans and may understand better. There are people who are like reservists, and we all know what that is.
Yeah.
They sign up, weekend warriors, whatever you want to call them, and they've been called in. Now you've got people who did their 4 years, they got out, honorable, administrative, whatever kind of discharge, and now they're being called back because there's an extension on their contract for I think that's called ready reserves.
Yeah.
We are getting dangerously close to them, and they're sending these people to Europe for war. Look, I know we're gonna get heavily political here. We would not be there funding this if Donald Trump was president.
Thank you. I agree.
I'm not to say that.
No, we probably would likely be in the same situation, because the only thing Donald Trump has proved that he listens to the cabal, right? Because we all know when you get into office, the president doesn't have power. It's the special interest groups that surround the seat of the power are the ones that control the throne. So even if Trump got into office, look how his rhetoric changed on Russia. Okay, it was different. Maybe we probably wouldn't have gotten into the war, but then you don't know that all the way, because listen, even this Ukraine and Russia thing, it was already in effect since Russia hijacked Crimea and since the U.S. made the statement that Ukraine might be part of NATO, right? So there was already shit put in place. It's not if Trump did anything or not. Putin was already making moves to ensure that NATO and their advancement stops right there. And that meant jacking Crimea, if that meant invading and starting a civil conflict in the Donbass regions, right? That's what you got to do, because as long as there's conflict within the country, that's barring you from joining NATO. So you can't just sit there and say, oh, yeah, it's because the women voted for Joe Biden. That's why. Because if Trump was in power, even though women voted for him, I guarantee you Trump wouldn't do the same thing. No, Trump would be that dumb to go to war, because Trump does whatever the media wants, because even though he criticizes the media, he desperately wants the media to speak good of him, right? That's why when he was, what was that? That's Soleimani, right? The General Soleimani, right? He was launching rockets. The guy literally launched a rocket and killed a general in their own country on sovereign soil. That's grounds for war. He's committed so many war acts. Okay, if it wasn't Russia, it'd be somebody else. So with the fact that we're doing this right now, it's just crazy. If honestly, I'm gonna tell you this: if it wasn't Russia, right? If let's say Biden, if Trump was in office, we'd go to war with China right now. If Trump was in office, swap Russia on Ukraine with China. We'd have a proxy war right now, because when Trump was in office, his whole tirade was against China. Look at all the tariffs and all the shit that he was slapping on them, bro. He made shit really hard for China. If Trump was in office, I would argue we'd probably be in a worse off war with China right now than we are with Ukraine. Just saying, but maybe I'm wrong. Chat, let me know in the chat. But I think that Temple, I don't know. I think there's a lot of copium coming from this guy.
Anybody who doesn't like Trump, by all means, don't like him. But it is a fact. Republicans are split on the issue of war in Eastern Europe, whether you agree with it or not, and Democrats wholeheartedly are for it.
The reason why the Republicans are split is because they want to get to war with China. The Republicans, they want war with China. They don't, the whole Ukraine thing they seen as a waste of time because that's Biden's war and that's the old, neoliberal anti-Russia type of movement. They don't care about that now. The right sees China as a growing power and they want them to be stopped. Okay, so if it wasn't Russia, it's gonna be China. Either one.
There's an issue there that people like Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Democrats are arguing for the expansion of a conflict in a country 8,000 or some odd miles away that could ultimately result in me being forced to go fight. I mean, I'm 37, so I'd be later on in the draft if it ever got to that. But I don't like the idea that overwhelmingly people who are not subject to those requirements are voting to send me to die.
Yeah, they're not going to deal with the consequences and the ramifications of their political choices, which is my issue. Like, if you're going to vote, then you need to have some skin in the game as well. And that's what I'm trying to say when I say, even though, we said, hey, everyone.
So what about the women who already have skin in the game right now, who are active duty, right? Who are the ones who are going to be on the front lines before people get drafted? So do we just disregard their service because of their gender? No, I don't know. Let's ask Myron, this weird ass chia pet hairline over here, bro.
If you join in the draft, you get to vote or whatever. I can already see the feminist lobbying. Well, this is sexist and blah, 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 because women are not going to be more prone to go to war. We should still be able to vote. And I'm like, well, I know for a fact by implementing that's disproportionately going to put most women in a situation where they won't be able to vote.
I'm sorry,
they're going to get mad and they're going to complain. But my thing is that, well, hey, maybe that's good because you keep out the people that don't care about this country. You keep out the people that aren't patriots, etc. And honestly, if you don't care about this country,
hey, you're a woman. You don't want to go to war. Fuck you. You don't care about the country. Stay out of it anyway. These guys, bro, where do they find these ideologies at, dog? Speaking as a soldier in the IRR has been a thing. It says the IRR has been a thing. What's the IRR? I'm not a soldier, so I don't know. I'm not a soldier. Don't claim to be one. All right, I respect soldiers, but my dad was a soldier. He was a soldier, so I respect that. That's what a lot of people say. I got like a disciplined background because I was raised in a military household, bro. Like those of y'all who are military brats, y'all know, y'all already know what kind of household it is, bro. It's all discipline and whatnot. Rest in peace, man, with my dad. But still, he taught me a lot. He definitely taught me the discipline I needed. Even though I'm not in the military, I can keep myself out of the penitentiary. I'll tell you that right now. But shout out to UKC. What is IRR? Let me know what that means. Darkus Baliza, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Leaving for the army in a week. Oh shit! Shout out to you. Men like trash and shit don't even have the balls to go to a recruiting office, yet alone a draft. That's facts. Yo, shout out to you. What the army, man? Shout out to you, man. Like, much respect. Because hey, guys, can we get a W in the chat for Darkas Baliza going to the military? Because listen, he's got more balls than Fresh. These guys are going to sit at home while you got guys like this who are actually getting ready to do it. Myron wouldn't make it in the boot camp, get alone Fresh. It's just funny to see that these guys want to talk about, real men and this and that, but they're not doing the things that real men would do, right? If push comes to shove, these guys would run. Talk about taking care of the country. Nah, they're running. They're running like little bitches, dude, and it's just so sad to see it. But again, they want to grift on the fact that, like, the physicalities, right? And what I mean by that is men being stronger and things like that. That's where a lot of their basis for their arguments come from. The fact that we're physically stronger, so they disregard women and the other attributes they bring to society. It's just so disgusting, man, just seeing that all get down. These guys need help. They have they have zero concept of women in reality.
You shouldn't be voting in the first place.
I know this may sound personal by and large, but like, we have a podcast. We do dating shows after hours with girls.
Yeah.
We ask a common question to the girls. Name 3 countries. They can't even do that, bro. So someone can
you pick it.
That's
No,
but
to
everything
be
is
honest,
generalized through
their
the
vote counts.
Some of them are
Their
teachers.
vote
and
counts.
No, I agree with you
So
on
look,
the teachers thing, but
I made a promise to myself.
They're professionals.
Look, listen, I used to ride motorcycle all the time in Miami, right? I love riding a bike. My favorite thing to do. Every time I've been in an accident, it's been by a woman. Now, to be fair here, right?
here's 4 guys.
I said I will not let a woman kill me willingly.
What the fuck? How is that even supposed to make a point? I've been in a couple car accidents, and the other end of the car was a dude. I got rear-ended, and I ran into somebody. So I was a guy. I hit somebody, and then when I got rear-ended, it was another dude. Hold up, Pause. Hold up. Hey, yo. Nah, y'all ain't about to give me on that one. I caught it. I caught that one. But still, y'all get what I'm talking about, right? Fresh, again, just because you have certain realities where you somehow get into car accidents with women, it doesn't mean it's the same thing for everybody, okay? That's not even the fact that was even an argument is just crazy, dog.
But with the draft, I'm gonna get killed. And you can't even name the countries, bro. What the?
No, hold on. Let me break that.
Damn, man.
I do think it's fair to say that you guys are probably surrounded by average, like an average kind of person, which means you'll run into a lot of people who are not very learned, right? It may be the inverse that we do a political show here. Every woman we've had on the show has been able to name 3 countries. I have not encountered a single woman, on Culture War IRL who's been like, I have no idea.
In fact, I'm going to start a podcast for High Value Dad, and I'm going to do my own dating show, and I'm going to have women on who are effing catches, who are women who high value men would be lucky to have as the
They're gonna be married,
bro.
Maybe so, but maybe not.
Bro, if you can do that, kudos to you. I will join
That's
that.
what I'll do.
I'll get one of those women for myself.
Exactly.
Whoa. Fresh, you have all the means to do that right now. Why aren't you doing that? Well, wait a minute. Why you got to wait for him to do it? What, you got women on your stream right now. Are you saying that you don't have quality women to break on your show? Is that what it is? So you got to go to other people's show? You got to wait for them to start it to poach off of their shit? Nigga, y'all got the option right now. What are we doing? Casey, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Casey says, by the way, retirees come back to serve and help during COVID, which was before President Biden was elected. I am AD and I don't take any of them seriously. Whoa, active duty. Holy shit. Shout out to you. And you are, based on your avatar, you're like a black woman, which is crazy because a lot of these people will write some up. So if you are a black woman, I don't know. I'm just saying something. I'm just basing off your avatar. It might not be true. But if you are a black woman, right, it just goes to show you, it flies in the face of what these guys preach out there, that women aren't tough. And particularly when they shit on black women a lot, it's crazy because they disregard a lot of the sacrifice some of them make. And it's just wild to see these guys go on with that narrative. But again, even disregarding the fact that if you are a woman or not, right, if you are a black woman or not, it still don't negate the fact that there are black women out there, some of whom are mothers who are actively serving right now their country. Yet these bozos who can't even sign up, who probably wouldn't even sign up if there was a real war going on. Okay, they don't have the balls, like my guy said, Dorcas. All right, when they go to a recruiting office, they wouldn't even be able to do that. Okay, but here they are shaming women who actually have the balls to go active duty. That's crazy to me, man. And it just shows you these guys, it's easy to talk online. It's just so easy to talk online. That's just what it is.
Now, can you do every week? Coupon every week, bro.
Because I'm telling you, bro, like we bring in girls with master's degrees, PhDs, etc. They're very educated. They don't care about none of this stuff.
That doesn't mean anything.
But I'm just saying.
It actually says the inverse.
The opposite to me.
But that's what I'm trying to explain is that, like, regardless of woman's education level or her status or whatever, it doesn't change the fact that women generally aren't interested in a lot of the things that we're talking about right now.
I agree with that, and that is not to me. I think
some are, but a majority aren't.
I would assume. the average woman can name 3 countries, like Canada, United States, Mexico. Not that hard. And you guys are laughing. I don't know. Maybe it's because you're the people you're around. But that being said, I'm not saying the average woman is a super genius. You know what I mean? I'm not like they're all going to be.
There's a lot of dumb dudes too.
I was about to say, I think that's
idiots. More dumb.
As a society.
There's a lot of dumb dudes too. But yeah, I think the women just shouldn't vote. Don't matter. John, shout out to you for the $20 super chat. I disagree. The CCP knows they would lose. They wouldn't go to war with us. The leader isn't an egotist like Putin. He also doesn't fear a coup. He plays a long game and war with the U.S. is not good for China's plans. No. Where I would push back is that China, here's the thing, they know they wouldn't take us on, they can't take us on full on, right? However, it's all about timing because we're a whole ocean away. So logistics, it's going to be different from, what Russia's going on right now. Because right now you got Poland in the mix, you got Germany, you got all these other NATO countries that are right there at the doorsteps. So you can train the troops, you can make things happen, all right? There's really limited water involved, right? Because you don't have a whole ocean you have to traverse. All NATO alliances are right there. With Taiwan, it's completely different, okay? The U.S. is going to need time to get their resources all the way across the world to the Pacific, okay? And that's why they're desperately trying to get Japan on board right now. They're desperately they're sending subs to Australia. There's a reason why, because Australia it has been for a while economically being pulled into the Chinese sphere of influence. So everyone, you got to watch, like China is not they're playing a multi-dimensional game. What they're doing is trying to create an opening, whether a hard opening or a soft opening. Hard opening meaning maybe on one of these little training flights that they do, they decide, you know what, fuck it, let's launch it right now, all right, and then everyone goes for it, and then we don't have enough time to really regroup or make things happen, right? Or they find a soft opening with not only diplomatic approach, aka using the situation in Ukraine right now. You notice how China is trying to make themselves on the world stage be like the ultimate peacemakers, right? So again, they're playing multiple different strategies from this. All they're waiting for is an opportunity to make this happen. And the reason why is because they know they have to do it, right? Demographically speaking, China is not doing too well right now. Okay, in a few years, okay, their population, the amount of young people they're gonna ever have, it's happening within the lifespan we're in right now. Because in the future, their population is not going to be doing too good. So they wouldn't have the stomach or the capacity for the kind of war they want to be able to wage with Taiwan. So we already know if they're going to make a move, it's going to happen soon. But the other side to it is that the U.S. is also itching for war. Okay, they're not like a full scale type of shit, but they want some kind of war because the U.S. wants to maintain their influence in the Pacific, right? So what the U.S. is going to do is they're going to keep provoking and keep provoking and keep provoking. Even what they're doing with Japan, sending subs to Australia, those are all provocative measures that they're taking because they want the Chinese to bite. Because the moment the Chinese bite, all of a sudden it's all out. Right? At least we can get it going right now. We don't know who the victor is going to be. I mean, it's probably going to be the U.S. in the long run. All right. But that's just how this shit works. You got to see, like, China's playing a completely different game. And I can break all this stuff down. I don't want to do too much in this stream. But, like, I don't. They are scared of the U.S. You're right about that, John. But also, don't get it twisted. Their fear is not enough to keep them at bay when it comes to seizing Taiwan. If the U.S. provokes them enough, they will make a move. They're not playing with that. They take that very, very seriously. That's the only reason why they're training this hard. CD with the $5 super chat. Isn't Myron from a hyper-patriarchal country where women have little to no rights? Why does he just go there instead if trying to change the evil West? That's right. But you know why he's not going to go? Because Sudan right now is in the middle of a civil war. If this guy goes to Sudan right now, he's getting drafted. All right? So my boy's smart. He don't want to get drafted. So he'll come to America where there's no civil war and then talk about, hey, you women, y'all are so lazy. Y'all don't even want to sign up for the draft. Hey, Myron, you got a civil war right now. I'm pretty sure your people need you in Sudan. Okay? Your people need you in Sudan. Why are you here talking about the draft in other people's countries? Huh? Why are you talking about other people's draft policies in their country? Go deal with your shit, bro. That shit I find hilarious, bro. My buddy, like, dude, Sudan is going through a crisis right now. You ought to pay attention to that. Dev with the $5 super chat. 10 years Army vet. Oh, shout out to you. I've seen more women on deployment than the chance Fresh or Myron signed up for service. Neither look like they can do 20 push-ups. Fresh doesn't even look like he can do one pull-up. Talk about 20 push-ups, bro. He looks out of shape. It's not even funny. Like, these guys, they want to talk about women. It's like they can't even get themselves in order. It's just so laughable. Dorcas with the $5 super chat. Let's get a dub in the chat for Dorcas. Says, I'm a girl, but these goopers, oh my God. Look at all these women in the chat who are also veterans, bro. This has got to tell y'all something. I'm just realizing that. Look at all these women in the chat who are also veterans, yet you got Fresh and Fit talking all this dumb shit about selective. Women don't even need selective service to sign up for deployment. They'll do it right now, unlike you bozos out there. Shout out to you, Dorcas. She says they don't have the capacity to pass the entrance exam, but yeah, 8 years active duty for me, though. God damn. Let's get a W in this chat for Dorcas. God, 8 years. That's more time it's going to take for Myron to regrow his hairline. Like, that's crazy. John with the $5 super chat says, China would wait until we relax on them. Wait until someone like Trump is out of office, then fund other countries to stretch us thin first. Yeah, here's the thing. I think if there is a re-election and Biden gets back into power, I think that's when the Chinese are going to make their move, because I don't think they're going to wait for a Republican to get in office, because they already know if the Republican gets in office, it's going to be an automatic anti-China policy. So they're already going to be making things hard on China, which I think is dumb, because when you make things hard on China, it's going to indirectly make it hard on American citizens, because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but this COVID conspiracy is these guys like to perpetuate. They at least got one thing right. What COVID did was expose that we don't build shit in this country anymore. All right, we don't build anything. We're just a bunch of service economy morons moving around here, services shit, but not creating anything. So if we break or try to sanction China in any way that is serious, we're only fucking ourselves over. And I don't think these politicians really understand that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. For right when it gets into politics, and I'm sorry, not politics, they right when it gets into office, we're going to war with China. It's just gonna take a bit, but we're going to war with China. Proxy war, not real war. Charles Index, shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Says, facts, bro. China owns a lot of land here in Australia. Yeah, they've been spending a lot of. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for this Ukraine thing blowing this whole thing wide open, right? A lot of people probably wouldn't have noticed how much influence China has been making ways in Australia. They were not playing. They're really trying to get Australia in line. If it wasn't for this shit being blown out of proportion, man, yeah, China would have been really just taking soft power, just brick by brick, undercover without us even knowing what's happening. They've been doing it like they already have control of our media. And it's not, listen, I'm not saying this against like Chinese or whatever it is. I'm just stating the fact, right? Listen, if LeBron is not going to criticize China, if especially with their Uyghur Muslims and how they're literally building concentration camps and putting Muslims in there, that's crazy to me, bro. But the fact that some of these people in Hollywood and these superstars that a lot of people worship, you know, it's the moment you talk about China, your career is over with. You're not okay. They already have control of that. Okay, listen. I don't think that's right. I think that as Americans, if we liberated people from under Nazi control, I think that we should speak out against China and the fact that they're over here enslaving Muslims, dude. That's fucking crazy that we still have concentration camps in 2023, and it's in China, the same country where all of our goods and stuff comes from. Like we're buying shit from people who are building concentration camps. Like, that's the thing I don't like about politics, bro, because when you think about the reality of shit that's going on in the world, it kind of makes you feel like a shitty human being, because it makes you realize your country doesn't give a fuck as long as they get whatever matters to them. That's it, bro. They could be committing human rights violations as long as they're cool with us. Who cares? It's really some politics is really fucked up. It really is fucked up, man. It makes you really think, like, are we good or are we bad, or is there such thing as good and bad? I don't know. John with the $2 super chat says, shit, I only did 2 in the army, lacking. Yeah, hey, John, there's some women in here that I'll do you right now. There's some women in here that are outdoing you 2 years, girl. What we doing, bro? Get your numbers up. Go re-enlist. Hey, you don't have to do nothing. Don't show off anybody, John. Hey, the fact that you served, that's way more service than Myron or Fresh will ever do in their lifetime. So let's just be real with that. Chat, I don't know. I've lost enough brain cells reacting to these bozos. I'm going to just call it a quit right now. But you already know. Go check out Temple if you want to watch the rest of the video. I don't know why you want to watch the rest of that bullshit. It's just more of the same thing. But again, go ahead and do your thing. I know I'm not going to hold you for it. I think education's the best. So if you can educate yourself how much of a tar these people are in their lives, maybe it'd be better for you, okay? But chat, that's all I got for you today. Oh, I forgot my 1s and 2s. Y'all let me know in the chat right now. Is Myron's hairline real, or is it a chia pet creation? I want to know, okay? Put a 1 if you think it's real. Put a 2 if this guy literally took some seeds and some Rogaine, all right, slapped them on his head and just roll with it for a couple weeks. I don't know, because it was looking extra funky to me. So I'll put a 2 in the chat, and I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Peace.